How do you do?
Good morning. Good afternoon. Is this thing on? I
It is.
feel like
It's on.
confused as to whether or not this thing is on.
It is on.
I,
It is on. We are
I,
going.
so what's up?
I not much. I mean, I think the first order of business to discover. Actually, this was a little bit last week, but it didn't quite come up. Is would you consider yourself a plonker?
A plonker?
Are you a plonker? Because you give me plonker vibes.
I don't feel like I'm a plonker. Is this about sozzling?
Not sozzling, but sozzled bonking specifically.
Oh, sozzled bonkling.
No, sozzled is the state in which you bonk.
Okay, if you're a plonker.
If you're a plonker, then you can bonk in a sozzled state. If
Thank
you bonk in a non-sozzled state, then it's actually unsozzled. It's intentional, you see.
Why are the British like this?
I'm going to say thousands of years of monarchy and crumpets.
Inbreeding.
I blame Marmite is where I'm going with it.
You blame Marmite? Isn't that the Australian one?
What's also
No, the Australian one's Vegemite.
There's Bovril, Vegemite, and Marmite. They're all over there. Then they all spread them, and I think that's part of the reason why. But this is the world we live in.
And they might have sozzled them at one point as well.
They might have. They might have. The fact that headline gets broken down into a real, actual, legible phrase blows my mind.
And it's also like a topic of some serious nature. It's a drunkenness sexual consent article.
What? No, it's about eggs.
It's about eggs?
It's about
Wait, what?
What? What are you talking about?
Whoever translated that to me was a liar.
Yeah, that's about eggs, you idiot.
Are you
Are
is
you
this the Arby's situation?
I was about to say, are you going Arby's on the fucking
I'm going to go
Zootopia?
I'm going to go. Oh, it's a fucking article that we can't see.
Okay,
because it's the Times UK.
Let me break it down. Let me break it down for you. As far as I've been told, a plonker is one who prefers their eggs hard boiled as opposed to soft. You see, and the act of bonking is when one accidentally hard boils their eggs, but intended soft boiled eggs. Now, sozzling is being sozzled is basically being drunk, but it's also used as a term to describe botching something or fucking it up.
I think this article is about drunk sex.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's about only a dumbass would call a timeout on drunk sex.
I thought it was about eggs.
I think you were Arby's today.
I got Arby's. That doesn't feel good.
It is, I mean, sex can be about eggs, but I think that's somewhat rare.
It shouldn't.
That that sex is egg based.
You know, the whole topic can equally just the whole topic can just stay out of my periphery, because I once it came down to being a discussion of hard or soft boiled eggs, I was like, great, and I moved on with my life and just wonderfully accepted that this continues to be a silly egg-based thing, which...
I want to go back in time in this conversation like 2-3 minutes ago, in which you described this as translatable into a legible sentence, only to jump into utter confusion, which I feel might be the most undercut you've made your own point ever. Because you said it was legible, but then we had an entire argument about what we were talking about, which I would say means it's not legible. The British have gone too far.
The English have won again. They've won again. Here I thought I had them back against the wall. It turns out it was my back.
The sun never sets on Sozzled Bonking.
Fuck. Okay. Well, yeah, is that made worse by the fact that, like, no, it's not a stupid ass article about eggs, but it's actually about a rather serious topic then?
Yes, it's a serious topic, and the statement in it is troubling.
I mean, I was able to...
Is England okay?
I don't think they are. Now that Prince Andrew's merchandise is no longer for sale at Buckingham Palace in the store, they removed all of his merchandise, so I think England might not be okay.
I feel really stupid that I had never even considered there was a royal family merch store, but that seems like warped.
There's a royal family merch store. The business makes its money, and the characters are all there, and you can buy merch for each of the characters. But this character's merch line has been discontinued. No real reason, of course, but I guess it's just not selling as high as it used to.
While we're on the topic of the British royal family, and before swerving into the rabid distaste I have for the British royal family, there is a somewhat wholesome way we can take this topic. And I need your opinion on something, Wooly.
Okay. Well, I was going to just say...
Oh, okay.
I was just... the last thing I was going to say was the one thing I did identify in that headline sentence was calling time. Because calling time is a sports term, so that's
a sports ball, yes.
There you go. So that works. But anyway, what do you need?
You mentioned Prince Andrew, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen photos of Prince Philip lately?
Lately, not lately. No.
Okay, could you Google Prince Philip and describe whether or not that man is clearly dead and being puppeted by a form of homunculi?
Oh, you... Oh, yes. Okay, yes. No, we are referring to Conra, you mean. You mean Conra of Buckingham Palace. Yes, the Duke of Edinburgh.
I have never in my life seen someone embody lichdom more profoundly than Prince Philip.
Yeah, no, it is, I mean, listen, for 99, I gotta say, he's hanging in there. He's hanging in there at 99, but it's quite clear that the soul transfer needs to occur.
They're like, it's the shot of him driving, and he's like, and the eyes oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah, no, you don't get the Gara sunken lines like that. Like, you don't get that in real life until you've claimed at least 5 or 6 fresh souls.
Like, I don't know how old the Queen is, but like she looks like my grandma. She looks like a person, so she must be getting the good, like, rejuvenation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it appears that Philip is either getting a lot more of it, or not enough of it, or something.
He's preparing for his return to Korriban.
I'm just saying that it is incredibly amusing to me to watch the British family literally become ghouls before our eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
I mean,
That is all I have to say on this topic.
But like now consider though the lineage of a class of Lich King rulers in real life. Who better than the actual monarchy? You know, how fucking sick would that be?
Who better than the monarchy of a nation that invented using mummies as a renewable resource? Are you familiar with that?
No.
That little tidbit of history?
No.
Okay, so you know the Egyptians, they had mummies. That was a thing. Well,
we just opened one up.
Mummification was not just for the rich. Everybody could get mummified. And when the Brits were going through Egypt and doing their British Empire thing, they discovered mummies. A lot of mummies. Like, I can't believe how many fucking mummies are buried in this country. This was also during the industrial era, in the Industrial Revolution, in which it was discovered, hey, you know how dinosaurs eventually turn into petrol?
Yes.
Did you know that the mummification process and the way that it dries out a human body renders a mummified person excellent train boiler room fuel? And they would ship out mummies from Egypt to be used as train coal in the UK.
What?
You didn't know that, huh?
England mummy train fuel.
The surprising historical uses of ancient mummies, yeah. Dude,
mummies to burn. During the railway expansion in Egypt in the 19th century,
they unearthed so many mummies that they used them as locomotive fuel.
Holy fuck, dude. Wow.
Now, so yeah, what better nation to engage in New Age mummification rituals?
Wow. Fuck your entire process and your culture. Fuck
also,
it to,
wow, man.
Fuck it British to Empire goddamn hell.
That British Empire was lit.
Boy, we got places to be. How many ancestors did that trip cost? Only a couple. Wow.
So I imagine there is some form of documentation at some point in Egypt of referring to the steam engine train as like a devil infernal creature that is literally eating the souls of the dead.
It burns your ancestors to move. This what is that if not for some form of lich dragon? Okay. Well, originally I was just, putting forth the visual of a bunch of undead wearing royal gowns and jewelries and accoutrements, but that's a whole other fucking level. Okay.
Yep. that was a thing. That was a thing that, as I described it, I was 100% sure everyone who heard my voice was going, oh, he's making that up. That's bullshit. Because why would that be true?
God save the Queen. Which God? Well, take your pick.
Imagine if the Brits died and they go to whatever and Ra is there just tapping his foot.
Ra's.
Yeah. 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 What's up?
Word.
Or it'd be Anubis or whoever.
Oh boy.
What's up, man?
Well, anyway, that's a good time. That's a good time. Did you have any good times this week?
I did. I played 13 Sentinels some more. That game's great.
Isn't
It's
it
really
like
good.
nigh perfect? It's fucking.
It is nigh perfect. I saw a clip from your stream in which you told Reggie to chill
Mhm.
because he remarked on his desire to be a dead cow turned into clothing.
Yeah, that happened.
um, um, I now have a much better knowledge of exactly how much clothing, not clothing, how much
You were still. It's a rather distracting topic.
it's stuck in my head
And I just
of how
he's dropping lines on the level of fucking Pauly Shore asking to die and come back as a leotard, literally.
yeah.
Anyway,
Of exactly how long the combat is in that game, and there's not a lot. I think there's like 30 stages.
well, there's a number. You know,
Yeah,
can look,
because
you
like
can look at it.
or 35 stages. Because I did the prologue and I did which is 7, right? And then I did the first 10, and then I did 2 more, and I'm at 50%. So that's 19 stages. So there's 40 or 38 or whatever. And I was in this. It was in this moment of like, I hit a wall in multiple character stories, and they're like, go do more battles. And I'm like, okay. And then I just sat down and was doing battles, and I'm like, I'm going to do battles until the game tells me to stop.
Mhm.
Right. And if you do it like that, I think you only have to I think there's only like 4 sections of playing the battle sequences if you just go until it stops you.
Okay.
So like that I originally thought it was like 60-40, maybe 70-30. It looks like it's more like 80-20.
I was choosing to
Like-
investigate more so because it's plot and interesting.
Yeah.
But like looking at the battles the way it's laid out, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't see any stopping point besides the section that you're staring at.
The other thing is that like they're really smart, and the further you go into the battle sequence, almost every single battle ends with a character going, "Hey man, that thing's crazy." Just like that time you and I were hanging out in that story sequence you obviously couldn't have seen yet.
Okay.
Like I think in the first level, there's like the punk guy and the girl with the red glasses. Like, oh, that monster we saw together. I'm like, when did you two hang out? When did that happen?
You probably already noticed as well that the points you spend for events do not reveal anything that you don't already know. So
Yeah,
don't get too
fucking
hype.
goofy. It's so goofy because they're like, you can earn a mystery point to find out who the mysterious cat is, and I go, oh, really?
Yeah,
I can find out who Fluffy is, and then you unlock it, and it goes Fluffy, a cat that Megumi met that day.
So I flew to the entry point. Well, anyway, I don't want to say too much, but there's an entry point that is literally the tech that is making this story possible. The entire premise of it. As an entry, spend a point. Yes, please. Click on it. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is the thing that does that. 2 sentences, you know? So don't expect those points to really be anything.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the game's incredible. Nothing more to say. It's perfect. The music has really started to kick itself up the further I get into the battle sequences, because you have boss stages instead of boss battles, and it feels like a Super Robot Wars contender kind of like this could be the end of a show, and it's only the 3rd level or whatever. What else did I do? I played, before I talk about what I played, I'll tell you a story from this morning that I want to add because it's funny. So those of you watching the audio feed, and perhaps even those listening, can tell that I have a fat pig dog in my lap because I love him. We've been letting him have a lot more house freedom. Because he's getting better about potty training. He's almost done, so that's great. He's barking to be let out to poo. But we've discovered the problem is that with Elmo, the cat, we just keep his food down because the cat can just go eat whenever he wants, right? Well, if the cat food is down, this piece of shit will find it, and he will eat it. The dog has learned how to go up and down the stairs explicitly so that he can beat us to the cat food. So we've had to we take the cat food and we put it up on a table so that we put it down for the cat, and we're playing that game. And this morning, I did not realize that I had left the cat food down. So the dog was on my lap, and I decided to let him down, and he jumped to run towards the cat food. I said, no, that's not for you. I run to get the cat food, and sure enough, I picked it up. I got there before him, and then stood up and almost knocked myself out on the bottom of the counter by standing straight up into it with the back of my head just slamming into the bottom of our kitchen island.
Jesus.
Which dropped my ass like a ton of bricks as I was splayed out on the floor going, This fat boy, sensing that I was in danger, ran to my side to eat the rest of the cat food and then wander away.
That's correct.
So thanks, buddy. I appreciate your help. That was really nice.
Has now been lowered to the floor.
I've never seen a more voracious food-based animal in my life. I've had dogs my whole life. We let him out and we're like, okay, guy, you can wander around the house to your leisure as long as you don't wreck anything, chew any cables, or pee, right? What does he do with like the entirety of yesterday evening? Sniff and lick every single part of the kitchen floor for like 3.5 hours. Desperate for even the most flakiest of microcrumb.
Mm-hmm.
Just hours. Sniff, 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 snort, snort, snort. Just lick the floor.
Yeah, that little...
The floor is immaculate now.
That video I saw of someone going to pour some food for their Pomeranian, and then they only put 2 or 3 crumbs down, and then it looks at them with the intent to murder Satsui no Hado.
Yeah,
and
so
yeah, and it's just there's literally nothing else in life except for that moment, and to betray in that moment is to wish death upon you and your loved ones. So
I worry that I'm but a food delivery service for my boy, and that it is all a game to him. But oh well, he's still soft and fat, and I love him.
It's not a fucking game. It's life, and life is food, and there's nothing else, as your almost near-death experience proved.
Like I told this story before, but you got to give your dogs the heartworm medication, right? So because they got their worms, they got to get those worms out. The heartworm medication I got for him, it's the big tablet, looked like a USB stick, like in size. I made his food, and then I just showed him the pill, and he just gobbled it down. He didn't even chew it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see in people like Pat is flabbergasted that Pat says he's had a dog for years. Can't believe he's shocked by a dog. I've had like 8 dogs in my life, and none of them acted like food beasts. They all like wandered over to their food, and then we fed them, and then they wandered off.
Well, they have personalities, but there's a personality type that is fucking feed, mid or
Give
feed.
Food. Yes, it's
and that's
true.
it. And that's all there is to it. There's no other personality there. So,
well, I'm glad that he will protect what really matters. If I am injured.
The trick is to make sure that you are permanently associated with the food delivery process, and then he will defend it to the death.
Yeah.
As long as he understands where you are in the chain.
Yeah, the dog associates food quite eagerly. So like there was a 2-week period that we had to stop using spoons because we were using spoons to mash up his food, and the sound of a spoon would then make him go totally nuts and think he was getting food time.
Nice. Pavlov's nothing.
Yeah, like Pavlov had it easy, is what I'm saying. All right, so moving on from Puppo's story of the day or of the week. Love you, buddy. You're fat. Um, Fat shaming your dog is hilarious, by the way, and flipping them the bird and just mashing it into his dumb face. It's really funny. I played Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is by Larian, so the people who did Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. It is in early access, and despite being in early access, it costs full price, which right away is kind of weird. And I mean like 60 USD full price, like no discount on early access.
Are they listing future promises with that purchase?
The future promise is you'll get the game as it's made, and then the game will come out and you'll own it.
Okay, so
like the promise is we're making it. You want to fuck around with this and do bug reports? Sure. And boy, is it early access. It is. I've been playing it on stream, and the game just constantly feels like it is sweating and grunting, and it is just struggling to not fly to pieces.
Early access is usually reserved for something a little more indie, though. Baldur's Gate being a known franchise feels like a bit of a strange choice to go that route on it, because I could see them not necessarily wanting to break it up into different price points if the plan is to just make a final game and release it for sale on everything later.
So it appears that is going to be the way Larian makes games. The first two Divinity Original Sins were Kickstarter games, and thus hit early access. And they took a lot of feedback, and they dramatically improved those games due to a lot of feedback. So this seems to be the way they just want to make these games, is like they want a giant playtesting group that can tell them what sucks ass. And they were working on Divinity 2 up until like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. They were still putting out updates.
Well, if the development style ends up resembling something like Neo, then that's for the better. And that would be worth the price of entry.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive. What is extra weird, though, because they are an indie company, right, is that there's clearly a lot more money and time that's gone into this already as a quote-unquote real big boy game that's not a Kickstarter game. Like, it starts with this massive, like, 6.5 minute super fancy CGI intro.
Okay.
And
that character creator looks like Black Desert level. Like, it looks really impressive.
So it's really impressive on everything but faces. They give you faces to choose. They don't let you do the slider shit.
Okay.
They don't let you choose eyebrows or whatever, but they do let you choose a million hairstyles, a million skin colors, a million makeups, that kind of thing. And it is surprising that Wizards of the Coast is just letting them do this kind of development with a D&D game, because more than anything else about this game, this is attempting to be the most accurate representation of tabletop I've ever seen in a digital format, to the point where I don't know if this will ever hit a console, because it has so many goddamn buttons and functions. It is the isometric RPG equivalent of a flight simulator. So you have your movement, you have your attack, you have your classes, you have your stats, you have your, all the usual that you would see in Pillars or Divinity. But then you have your 8 actions, which are like jump, help up, knock unconscious, stealth, throw, etc., which apply to every conceivable object in the world.
Is this because it's trying to represent like a 5th edition character sheet?
Yes.
and convert it into gameplay.
Yeah, so like
Yeah,
there's a
okay.
shove button. And shove is a type of action that you can roll. It's very, very intense. It's also a game that realizes that. So I have some very strong disagreements with some folks that have complained. I'm sure you'll talk to them in the future. But there are some things that the game does that I think are genuinely cool. Usually in a game like say a Fallout, right? You want to use the doctor text option because you're a medicine man. And it goes, is your medicine 80? Then you can do the medicine option, right? In D&D, it wouldn't work like that. In D&D, you'd say, do you want to persuade this person with your charisma? Or do you want to break down this door with your strength? Fucking roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 always misses, 20 always succeeds, and then roll in the bonuses and all that crap. That is for everything. That is there was a weird situation early on where I wanted to get a brain out of someone's head, and I could roll a dexterity and a strength check, which I failed both, and then had to just leave because there was nothing else to do.
Everything's a
And
roll.
the most interesting thing about that is that when I wanted to roll that strength check, it goes okay, and it goes roll to beat 13, and a fucking D20 appears in the middle of the screen and says hit left click to roll. And the dice rolls it. And you live by the number you get.
And well, it's okay. So one, for that D&D experience, if you're a fan and you're looking for that tabletop vibe, seeing the dice roll on everything is cool and satisfying. It's a part of what makes that fun kind of come to life. However, this is where D&D kind of like the fact that I've never been I've tried being a DM once, and like I don't think I was very good at it because like my friend was basically trying to QA my world and see if he could break it instead of play the game. And I was like, you motherfucker, I know what you're trying to do. You son of a bitch, stop it. But I don't know what always constitutes a role and what always doesn't. And there are definitely moments that I've played a campaign where the DM will be like, okay, yeah, so you just do that thing. They don't even do a check for it. They'll just actions.
It's assumed to be
certain
so
things
easy that
are just like, yeah, you're fine, and it's usually like it appears to be a gut call, but I don't know how that gut call applies to something like this where the game has to have a logic to it,
Yeah. Anything important in game is hit your surfaced dice roll, and in combat it'll give you a raw percentage instead, unless the behind the scenes dice roll takes hits a 1 or a 20.
Yeah, the moments that are always like, woo, are when you do a basic bitch nothing action, and then DM goes, hold on a second, rolls the dice and goes, yeah, nothing happens. And you're like, what the fuck was that? That's a feeling that can't be captured in other formats,
The game seems particularly obsessed with showing you that dice rolls are happening. There was a really good talk by Josh Sawyer a million years ago when he was working on Pillars, the first one. And he was talking about how, while Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that have to make the math on hitting things and stuff like that as quick as possible and as simple as possible, because you're going to be physically rolling with essentially mental math, right? But if you're making a video game, you can have more complex or maybe more balanced systems, because the computer can just do all the math really fast for you, and then you just have to surface the result. There is definitely an argument to be made for that. However, there's something lost when you do that, and I didn't really realize that it was lost until I started playing BG3.
Okay.
And the big complaint is that save scumming obviously negates dice rolls, and then it becomes an argument of whether or not you can trust / incentivize the player to just play it through, right? To play through disasters. And that's really hard. You need to have a million variations of an event for playing it through a disaster to be valuable.
Well,
Disco Elysium does it perfectly.
I was about to bring up Disco Elysium as an example where there's more than enough strong, consistent narrative around those rules for you to fail forward into the story. And the QA on a game like this, where let's say you fail every single check possible, what does that story look like? Is it even entertaining or interesting?
The answer is yes.
You need you need to make sure that's the case, and Disco Elysium is wonderful with its fail checks, you know?
There was a situation that I think sums it up really well, because I save scummed it about 10 times and saw what I believe to be almost every permutation of events, and led me to the decision to play it through unless I ruin the game. You know, if you make everybody at a camp angry with you and the game's impassable, right? You run into a situation in which 3 dudes are digging up a mind flayer that is hurt in a crash, and they appear to be enthralled. The first thing that happens is there is a under the hood, invisible to the player perception check to see whether or not you can see the mind flayer between them, which you can influence by casting a priest spell on the character that encounters it, which increases their next dice roll. Then you have the ability to try and talk the people down or try and persuade the people down, which results in a charisma check. A successful charisma check has you talking to them and then they leave. A failed charisma check or a bad dialogue option ends up with a fight. In the fight, once you kill one of them, the other 2 will snap out of it unless you knock them unconscious with the knocked unconscious bonus action, which I forgot was there for most of my playtime, because that is a weird thing to include in a game like this, even though it makes perfect sense if you're trying to actually not be a piece of shit, right? They ran off after I killed their friend. I then thought, oh, I probably should have knocked them off. You can then either talk to the mind flayer and run away from it, talk to it and try and pass an intelligence check to mind probe it. Then you have to pass a wisdom check, and if you fail that wisdom check, it eats your main character and kills them outright, gets up with almost its health completely full, and then you have a boss battle.
Seems correct.
Or you can shoot it on the floor and kill it.
Interesting. Okay.
And if you shoot it on the floor and kill it at the start of the encounter, those people become unenthralled.
You set your all of your stats prior to this, right?
Yes.
Your sheet was completely in your control.
Yeah, this was long after I'd finalized my sheet.
Okay, that's a fucking good ass
right
set of
and
choices.
This was a single
nice
encounter. There is a disguise self spell in the game that when you click it, I thought would just disguise you as some amorphous whatever. It then listed every race that is humanoid in the game and goes, do you want to turn into a goblin? Do you want to turn into a half elf? Do you want to turn into a Githyanki? Like whatever. Like pulls up a giant bar of things you want to turn into.
Now, did Baldur's Gate prior have choices like that that were that open?
No.
But did Divinity?
No.
Okay.
There were obviously situations in those games where it's like, do you pass the check possible to, talk this guy out of it? But they were based on your stats, and they were usually pass-fail.
Okay.
Right?
So this is new shit.
I have played through the introduction, and I feel like I may be a third of the way through the first act. I can't wait to play through it again with a different character. In addition, because the game supports 4-person multiplayer with each person as their own person, independent of one another, there's the permutation of events like, when you talk to somebody and you enter into like a Mass Effect style, like, you know, face zoom in cutscene angle dialogue,
Yeah.
there's a change character button in the bottom left that brings you out of the conversation into one of your other controllable characters, who can then wander around the environment and it like set up for an ambush or rob people as they're talking or what. It's
And you continue to hear the conversation?
No, it freezes time until you talk to somebody. Until you go back to the person who's handling the conversation. On top of that, one of the things that was always awkward in these old games was stuff like stealth, because it was real time. Even paused, it was still real time, right? So you'd have vision cones and stuff like that. In this game, if you want, you can activate turn-based at any time, which then causes rounds to progress in 6-second increments, in which you can plan every 6 seconds of go here, hide, go here, hide, go here, make a distraction, you go here, talk, etc., to actually be able to do stealthy things and tricky things, like
that sounds
pick up this dead imp. Yes. And pick up this imp corpse and toss it so that this guy can go over there and all this shit. There's like, the game feels like it's about to fly apart, but you play it for a couple hours and you're like, oh, no wonder it feels like it's just fucking breaking apart at the seams. There are millions of interactions, it feels like, happening every single second, that like the game seems at least to be smart enough to want to show you that those reactions are happening, even if they fail.
So early access because the ambitions are fucking stratospheric.
Gigantic.
Yeah. Okay.
So probably the best example of the game telling me that something's happening, even if it means nothing to me, so that I feel like, oh, cool game, or I think about it, is that I walk into a dark ass crypt and I walk forward 1 foot, and every person in my party starts rolling a perception check. An eyeball appears above their heads and a little timer starts going, and the perception check finishes and all 4 fail. And I go, what the fuck is in this room that every single member of my party just failed to see? And upon scrounging the room for long enough, eventually one of them passed a check that let me see that there were grates in the floor that meant that the chest in the middle of the room was trapped.
Okay, but that's
so that I could.
That is the in-game engine version of what I just described, where you walk into a room, DM goes, "Hold on a second, yeah, you guys are fine for now." And you're like, oh, that's absolutely perfect.
And this also applies to what I'm going to call non-combat or social statistics. So one of the, proficiencies you can get is in religion or metaphysics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I go up to some alien contraption that the Mind Flayers use. I look at it. I can't read it. It rolls a metaphysics check. I fail it. I still can't read it. In an area, I went by a mostly smashed a religious statue, in which only the cleric passed the religious test, at which point she uttered, "Oh, that's so-and-so. I didn't know many people worshipped him. This must be one of his only sanctuaries," or something like that. So the game is just constantly just reaching out against the environment and touching it and rolling against your party stats.
Just on a curiosity
like, it's level, so impressive.
On a curiosity level, if you can save scum, like, obviously you play in a way that doesn't ruin your experience, but in times where I'd want to be like, how would this have gone? I like the ability to be able to jump back and do that if I'm not necessarily going to do an entirely different run, So that's pretty good.
Well, I think the main way that they're going to fight save scumming is not by seeding outcomes, because that would be terrible. That would be the worst, right? Like the reload an XCOM save and it's always the same because the shot was actually determined before your turn started. It would be like, so I'm thinking about it. if I were to have save scummed every choice that I would have failed, I would have not even left the tutorial. Like, it is constantly doing that shit to the point of just like the progress would be slow.
But also,
Now,
sometimes when you fail rolls, you're failing a roll that like you just don't even have a possibility of hitting anyway. You can't assume that you always would have nailed it. You know, you have to let go of those failures.
I mean, there was one that I attempted that like the past state was like 17, and it's like I'm not gonna get that.
Yeah,
like there's no fucking way. So all that, the game plays like Divinity, like, you know, combat wise, it's good. But the game is currently flying to pieces. There's been times where I talk to people and their own clone starts A-posing and floating behind them.
Oh yeah.
Shit just breaks. Certain interactions seem bugged. Performance varies wildly, etc. And it's only the first act of the game. So it is a profoundly unfinished product right now. But it's really cool, and boy, is it going to be really cool. The game does support multiplayer right now, and multiplayer is fucked, I imagine, because it's so much more complex because all of these things are interacting with each other in a network environment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really, really cool. They say that it will be out in 1 year. I don't know, man.
Well,
I really don't know.
Considering the size of this company and what they made before, and then also saying that this is early access and these are the ambitions, clearly the price they're putting on this is not only final ticket price, but they need money.
Yeah.
They fucking need some cash. So that sounds like a fair proposition. Get in early, see what's going on. If the thing is good, it's the price you're going to pay at the end anyway. And if you like what you got, like, that sounds more than fair.
I also have something of note.
Given the ambition.
Of big note to myself, and possible big note to yourself, is that this has Twitch integration, which I've been using. Mm-hmm. And it has the best Twitch integration of any game I've seen so far. It's pretty simple. When you load up the Twitch integration little docket on the game, people watching your stream can go through every one of your character's sheets. What do they have equipped? What do they have? What are their stats? What are their levels? What are their spells? What are their equipped items? Everything. Right? In addition, when you enable Twitch integration and you talk to anyone about anything, a little bar graph icon appears above the dialogue options. And when you push on it, you see the votes of the chat talking about what they want you to pick. It doesn't pick for you.
Yes, it's just what
but
they
it does
see.
Tell you 82% of your chat would like to see this dialogue option.
Okay. The prior point you mentioned, they can go through your sheet, as in they can just see what your character sheet is on their own at any time.
Yep, it's just a little button off to the side of the screen.
They have no control over anything. Yeah, okay, all
right. So it leads to the situations where you're like, you would usually go, I don't know, chat, should I go left or right? Mm-hmm. And instead of just looking at chat and saying typing 1 or 2, just click the little button and actually see what people actually want you to do.
But you have to click a button to make it appear.
Yeah.
It's not always there.
No, they'll probably put up a feature that will put it always there. Okay. But I think it's always there so that you can choose whether or not chat has any implicit control.
Yeah, it needs to not always be there, because then you're obviously peer pressured into every decision in the video game, which is not.
Oh, fun. I've been playing mostly peer pressure, and it led me to an interesting conclusion that Larian also ran into themselves, which was chat actually wanted to pick the option that I would most of the time. Mm-hmm. Like 90% of the time, chat picks whatever option is give me more information. Mm-hmm. And then whatever is, the nice slash chill option.
Yeah, the
Larian,
reasonable main character.
yeah, Larian put out a statement where they dove into the metadata of people's character creators. Did you see that?
No.
So they dove into the character creator data, and they're like, all right, we made the character that our community has communally made, the one that is made out of all the most commonly chosen options. And congratulations, players. You made player one Nathan Drake. Human. There are
you boring fucks.
There are like 11 races in the game, including Githyanki, which are like
fucking
space people. There are demon people with tails and big horns and fire eyes. There's a bunch of different elves and dwarves and all sorts of shit. And you got fucking human ass Nathan Drake looking guy.
Paul marketing just got hard.
And they're like, God damn it.
Paul is fucking chubbing up. He's chubbing up. The data is the data is the data.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, because I mean, people don't like to make monster races. I like to make monster races. I almost always pick a monster race. But look at World of Warcraft. What are the two most popular races? Humans and the elves that look like anime characters.
Well, when I think of people I know that are playing games and making these decisions, right? Like, there's the way you play, there's the way I play, there's all these things. But then I'm also like looking at like Steph, who's playing games now, and like I'm sort of seeing some of her decision making, and it's interesting to see how like if you have to look at a choice of 4 or 5 options, just put the words I don't know, I guess this one before the actual pick, and I think that'll spell out what they ended up seeing as their high demographic choices, like, yeah, I guess that, sure, protagonist, he'll do the thing, he's got a sword and board, he's probably charming.
I'm not even in a particular place to complain, because even though I made a tiefling, which is like a quarter demon person with big horns, what I made was a balding ginger tiefling that would be me if I was a demon boy.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. But no, a lot of, then you get the discussion of like, what do you want to role play, or do you play these games to be hot / to make a waifu? Everyone's got their different goals.
About that, Wooly, the character creator in BG3 has a waifu character creator in it. I don't know what it actually affects, but after you create your character, it then goes what attracts you, and it demands you make a second character.
That is really strong. You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's the phrasing.
You haven't seen its effect yet.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it just says what attracts you, and it loads in, and you can make anything.
Strong.
You can make a dwarf bro with the pecs.
Very.
You can make a
very
elf
strong
lady. It's the waifu / husbando creator.
Is there? That's, you literally fixed part of what I was in the middle of saying, which is a character creator represents different things to different people. For some people, it's make what you want. For others, it's make what you want to be. You know, and then for others, it's make yourself as is. So that divides a clean line between at least one of those categories. Brilliant.
So
fucking brilliant.
So they're gonna. The game's only got half the classes, and it doesn't have all the races. It's probably the one of the races that I hope would be in is called Warforged, but they're robots, so the story doesn't make any sense for them, because the whole plot is that mind flayers put a brain parasite in your head, and that wouldn't work very well for robots.
So I'm on that point because I'm like, here's why I love that, right? Not just for the obvious reasons of, yo, hey, what do you like and what gets you going, but I love that data in the hands of a dev that's willing to fucking use it against you.
All right.
So if you are filling out, hey, what are you into? And let's say you're like, oh, I don't know. I like me a good little twink and, I want some cute hair and lithe kind of.
I've been playing some Genshin Impact lately, so bring on the cute boys.
Bring on the cute boys, right? I want that kind of little attitude. And you go and you put that in as you're like, yeah, give me more of that. Oh, game goes.
Character creator, honey, don't worry about it.
Game goes, all right, you want some of that? Cool. Keep it in mind. And then 30 hours later, you go to Fish People Kingdom, and the half fish people are a bunch of twinks with gills. And you're like, oh, look, it's your fish people. Are you interested?
What you wanted.
Did you not want your fish twinks? I got them right here. And just start fucking just doing little things like that. Just playing with it. Oh, this kind of haircut? Yeah, let's throw that out. Just absolutely.
Let's have every piece of shit character in the game have that haircut.
Use it against you. I love that idea. Dastardly.
Yeah, game's cool, man. One last thing that I want to mention I think is interesting is that not all the party members are available in the current version. But all the complete piece of shit party members are available because apparently Larian discovered that fewer people use the overtly evil characters. So they want data on that. So the overtly evil, horrible characters are going to fill up most of your party in the current version of the game. And the result of that is that everyone either hates your guts or you're playing a scumbag party. There are people that you run into and you discover them and they go, oh, hey man, what's up? And they go, kill everyone in here. Okay. Or the rogue that joins your party, you meet him when he tries to slit your throat and rob you.
Doesn't seem like that'll work well with the Nathan Drake agreeable man.
It does not. But yeah, game's cool. If I was not streaming it and having the fun of playing it with a huge audience and being excited for it to fly apart, I would definitely not be playing this at all. Because my criteria for stopping the Baldur's Gate 3 on stream is beat the content that's there, which is maybe 15% of the game. The game becomes unplayably broken, or Larian puts out a patch that just deletes everyone's save files, which is part of the agreement, is that, hey guys, from day to day, all of your save files might just disappear because, we might have to change something that wrecks them.
And these are fat fucking saves by the end of your file.
I can imagine, yes.
Right? So, yeah. Okay.
Also, the game's UI is terrible and desperately needs another 3 passes. Organizing a cleric's entire school of spells on a hotbar took me no shit 15 minutes.
Yeah, so I guess so the emphasis really here is the game is not out. If you
can fuck with it.
If you want to go see what's happening right now with it, you can pay to get in and see what's happening with it. But the game is not actually out. Yeah. Losing your save is a huge caveat to enter into.
It is to be guaranteed that if you play this early access version, they will likely wipe saves at the very least every time they add new content to it.
What Dead Cells did was it kept your save in the slot, and basically if you loaded that save up, you were getting the unupdated patched version of the game, essentially, for a while. But then there was a wipe, you know, when it just became like completely impractical to keep it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not out. You are checking out what's going on. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds
totally.
incredible. That sounds really good.
It's so impressive. And then because they did an interview where they were asked like, hey, is this coming to consoles? They're like, no, no way.
You can't just.
There's no way we could do this on consoles.
Mousing and keyboarding.
And I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. And then you see like the keybinds thing. The keybinds could, almost every button on the fucking keyboard does something. Like there are 4 different modifiers for the movement. Like if you hold shift, that's the jump movement. If you hold control, that's the damage movement. And it is coming to Stadia. I know. Thanks for paying for some of this game, Stadia.
Well, if you can set the game to be turn-based, I suppose that remains fine because you can just look at your keyboard and figure out what you need to do without the panic of, oh no, Shift F question mark. All right. Well,
game's crazy.
Cool. And you said that it actually is Baldur's Gate because it happens to be taking place in the same location, but it's not in fact actually directly linked.
It is some time after the others, and in the opening cutscene it has a Nautiloid mind flayer ship attacking a city that you then later find out, oh, that city was Baldur's Gate. And that's why almost every person that you run into in the beginning of the game that is from the crashed ship is actually from Baldur's Gate. And the ostensible goal of the game is, let's get back home. Let's get back to Baldur's Gate and also get these mind parasites out of our head.
I have an important question. Going into this new generation, how would you feel if Sony and Microsoft, and then eventually Nintendo down the line, got to a point where they said, hey, look, we're porting some games, or we're getting some game support for games that are on PC. Plug in a fucking keyboard and mouse, and you can play it on our console.
I think that would be completely fine.
Now,
Sony has already jumped on that bandwagon, kind of.
It supports
Fortnite
it for
and 14
optional things.
Yeah.
Now, if you went down that road, you are now putting the wall up for people that are like, I just bought it, I have a controller, and I don't want to do anything else. Right? It's a little bit of that arcade stick problem.
Yeah.
Originally, when arcade sticks were, becoming more and more popular. It's hard to get people to budge on that.
I'm torn. If it's the decision whether or not like a game like this comes to those consoles at all, bring that game to the consoles and just put the keyboard in, right? That being said, I really, really, really like Divinity's controller implementation. And I hope to fuck that Baldur's Gate 3, even if it doesn't get console support, does get controller support. Like, moving things in the inventory right now with a mouse is terrible. It's fucking shit. So I really hope that they do put controller support and then they put it on next gen consoles, because then of course you have all the power in the world to run all these stat checks in the background, yada yada.
I mean, like,
but if it's the difference between it coming out or not, then yeah, by all means, just whatever.
It coming out or not ends up being the whole argument, though, right? Because it's like, throw it out there, and for those who want to play it that way, or those who are willing to do it, then you do it, and that is a like open system that lets people do what they want. However, make no mistake, you now enter into a simultaneous world of super upset people that don't have a mouse and keyboard to plug in, that will be very, very, very angry that they cannot play without those things. And they would constantly, it would become a controversy online, for people that don't own a mouse and keyboard to plug in, that are like, fuck you, I can't play your game. Or, I bought your game, but I can't play it. What? So that enters into a strange dynamic where you have to make sure that people are like aware of and okay with not being able to play everything that the console supports with what came in the box.
I mean, that already exists with peripheral style games,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I don't see a problem, honestly.
I think in the end it would be fantastic because it would just allow more people to play more games. It would just
Yeah.
open up a situation where tons of incredible things that otherwise couldn't be touched on a console now could.
Obviously, this does lead to a possible problem in which games that would have gotten controller support will no longer because they can go, oh, just use a fucking mouse and keyboard.
Sure, and it can even allow the it can give fucking Sony an excuse to sell you a $40 keyboard and mouse combo.
Oh, they will. In fact, I think they might already.
It's white. It has white on the fucking trims. But yeah, that feels like a win in the, not that last example, but if they started getting games to just like port games that are like, you need a mouse and keyboard to play this, but that you pop it in, it works, and you don't necessarily have to suffer if let's say you don't have a great computer or something that can handle some of the stuff going on in the PC only world. Brings it all together. I think it would be really cool if things went that way.
Yeah, I think that would be valuable. I guess the last thing I want to say is like this game gives me a feeling I have not felt playing an RPG of this type since I want to say Dragon Age 1 / Mass Effect 2 / Baldur's Gate 2. Like, it's got that certain something that some games have and other games don't, that I can't quite describe, where you start playing it, you just start like nodding your head and you're like, yeah, this is a good one. This is going to be a good one.
And you're in the middle of saying how much we're missing out on by not knowing 1 and 2.
Nothing.
Okay.
It's 100 years later and it's in the same universe.
Cool. All right.
It's apparently a sequel to an adventure model for 5th edition called Descent into Avernus. So in fact, do you want to know what the prequel to this story is go campaign. Check out that adventure model.
An actual campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where can I buy Descent into Avernus at D&D nerd stores and Amazon near you?
That's pretty funny. Okay. Couldn't be less connected.
Module, not adventure. My bad. My B. I don't know what these nerd things are called. Nerds. Yeah, you can check more of that crap out over twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. I'm also going to be playing Fall Guys this week because they got that season 2. Have you played any of that?
Not season 2, but I see Sonic the Hedgehog costumes.
Yeah, that's cool. And tomorrow I'm going to be hanging out with my friends Creepy Porpoise and Justinian Knight, and we're going to be playing that new FF14 stuff, which is like an FF11 style expansion. So that'll be fun. Okay. Check it out at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
Cool. Over on this side of things, it's funny because you talked about shit that just didn't fucking work that you could see falling apart. Well, I'll tell you what's been falling apart is Halo games fresh out the oven onto that Master Chief collection.
This is the first time that you've played it right away, huh?
No, it's not, because 3 came out right when I played it too.
You did.
Right? But each have had little bits of issues people have brought up, and I want to say that with 3, a lot of what I was being warned about, I was being warned heavily about problems with 3, but it was mainly multiplayer stuff, because in the end, we only had like one issue throughout the whole run. I think we had like one moment of like a disconnect, where we had to like go back and resync up. But oh boy, ODST, yeah, it just doesn't like it. I don't know what it is. I can't tell if it's a connection issue or if it's a hardware issue or what, but like first session I played it, had a disconnect, host ended up freezing, and V was able to continue, and then eventually hard kick and just reconnected and kept going. Second session, 3 fucking drops. and each one each one is happening faster than the last time. So at first they were an hour apart, and then they were like 20 minutes apart. And I'm like, fuck off. I like, this is like day, I guess it's like our week 1 of the game coming out, but shit was just not having it. And like after the 3rd time, it destroys the recording, it destroys the sync. You know what I mean?
The momentum.
Yeah.
Personal momentum.
Well, of course there's that, but just on a level where it's like you're video capturing and then the resolution switches because it drops back to the desktop.
Oh, no!
Most capture devices have no idea what to do with that.
Most capture devices hate it when you switch resolutions.
Yeah, word to the wise, if you can run something without any issues in desktop full screen, do that, because the switch between resolutions can easily botch an entire recording session, especially if the format has no ability to preserve what's been recorded without a closed state.
Wooly, I empathize with you greatly, and I feel so bad that you are having this issue. Every time it has occurred to me and us in the past, it is just like bury the full strength scream into the mental pillow.
Yeah, so and so then basically I had to kill the stream, prematurely, and just like, all right, everybody go home. Can't do anything about that. And then as I off the fucking, setup, I then get to stare over into the corner and my eyes settle on the dusty X-Bone, of which I have a physical copy of MCC. And then it's like, well, I guess it's plan B then. So
no.
Thus begins the adventure of A, undusting the Xbox for the 2nd time. First time was to play the Devil May Cry 5 demo. 2nd time was to use it as a pass-through port for my Dreamcast stream. Now we undust it yet again. Arise, X-Bone. Link the flame.
X-Bone, arise.
And so we plug it in and it makes its, doo-doo-doo. I'm back alive. I'm online. Here I am. Doo-doo-doo. And, all right. So step 1, for some reason, I don't know when and I don't know why or how, but it just takes extra long getting the video feed to the television. And it's longer than I'm used to. You have to stare at black for a while before it then goes, hey, look, it's an Xbox. And I'm like, oh my God, man. I don't know if I just forgot that or if it was always, if something's going wrong, whatever. Anyway.
I've never used an X-Bone actually still. So I have no answers for you.
And then you're like, all right. So step 1, pop in the disc and it goes, hey, all right, I'm going to start installing. Boy, you're gonna need to delete some stuff to make space. I'm pretty full. I've got 100 gigs, and you've got a lot. You've got shit to clear. So, please make space. And I'm like, all right, let's make space. What would you like to delete? Would you like to delete Destiny 1? Would you like to delete Cameo from Rare Replay? How about Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain?
What is Destiny 1 doing on your Xbox?
Dude, I'm staring at this thing and I'm having a trip. I'm like, whoa, no. Wait, do we want to delete Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Nah, hold on a second. We can do better. Let's delete Dead Rising 3. That'll clear some space up.
Why do you have Dead Rising 3?
So that one, I'm looking at it and I'm staring at it going, why do I have Dead Rising 3? And then I vaguely remember that I think
we did.
You had to have it installed to do the bonus game where you play as all the Capcom cameo characters together.
Yeah, that's totally what it was. Yeah.
Super Dead Rising plus Turbo EX Crazy Extreme matching service thing. Like that little fun little mini game, you had to have the full copy of Dead Rising installed. So it was an add-on that booted on its own, I think, but the main game had to be sitting on your hard drive, right?
Tell you what, I am ready for new consoles.
Yeah. There was no disc inside the Xbone, but so then I clear that shit out, and then it installs Master Chief Collection, and I'm like, great. And then I boot it up, and it's like, here's Halo 1, 2, and I think I think it was like 1, 2, and like one other thing, and it's a completely different layout and menu, and I'm like, oh boy, okay, yeah, no, what we've been playing is a game that's been patched into a different game. This disc launch version of this thing is not at all
completely different.
Yeah. So, all right, let's throw it online. Okay, now you're online. So by the way, like that process, the installation took a while. I just walked away from it.
Oh, I bet.
That was the end of that day. Okay, came back the next day, saw that things were missing. So I'm like, all right, now what? Let's connect it. We connect it. Xbox hasn't been updated in fucking since the Bronze Age. Would you like to?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, please, let's do that. Set it to go. All right, we're downloading many whatever it was a large like multi-gig patch. It might have been like 20 gigs or 24 gigs or something like that. Mm-hmm. Downloading at a glacial pace. I'm like, oh, this is like PlayStation. Pause it, reconnect, and then it'll be faster. No, it just downloads at a glacial pace.
What? Really?
No.
Because my experience with PlayStation is that you restart it until you get the good server.
Yeah, no. In this case,
that goes really fast.
Pause on pause. Pause on pause. Nope, it still sucks. All right, I guess I'm putting it down. That's the end of that day. I'll come back to this later. All right, we update the thing. All right, now update your Master Chief Collection. That's 100 gigs. You got to clear off everything on your fucking, like, it's all got to go. Whatever else you thought you were holding on to, you wanted to keep some of the things on Rare Replay, fuck you. Clear that shit off. You know, and it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, fine. That let that all go.
Apologies to you, Wooly, and to everyone at home who is annoyed by the sounds of life occurring, but it appears that it is coffee time. So there may or may not be coffee noises. Pardon? No.
It's okay. So, then...
Thank you, woman.
So anyway... Right. So anyway, Destiny gets deleted, and then fucking Master Chief Collection gets installed and everything gets updated, and game can run now, but it is a very, very annoying plan B. And now I get the fun of like working my way back up to where we were progress wise on heroic, which is not an easy task for someone like me.
How far did you get before this all happened?
6 missions.
Oh, that's
decent progress.
That's significant.
Yeah, that's significant. So now we go, right? Now we continue, and it's just not fucking great, man, but it is what it is. We've already started, got to continue it, and this is what some time was fucking spent doing this week. So thank you 343, appreciate it. Please make your game work, guys.
It's really stupid because I mean, these slowly been coming out on the PC, and that's great because everybody, Halo, whoa, on the PC, right? But like, you must remember the fucking kerfuffle that occurred when that shit came out originally, where like the Master Chief Collection, particularly the multiplayer, was just turbo fucked for like 2 years.
I wasn't paying attention at the time.
You weren't paying attention? Oh, okay. Really? Like, you weren't paying attention to what I said, or you were paying attention when Master Chief Collection?
No. When it came out, borked. I was not. I was. Yeah.
Okay. No. It was a massive scandal. It was constantly broken, and then they were like, "Hey, we're fixing Halo 1. Halo 1's almost fixed." It was one of those games that came out that was like the pre-Anthem, like in terms of disastrous launch.
I remember you talking about.
Oh man,
I remember
somebody in the chat just pointed out that if you tried to play a multiplayer game, it would throw you into somebody's campaign co-op.
Oh fuck yeah! Sick. I mean, I remember when you were talking about the Silent Hill collection back in the day, and I can only imagine that there's a special feeling for games that are botched on launch, that are remakes of things that you love, that you have nostalgia memories for.
That worked the first time.
Yeah, because it's a feeling of like this. The whole point of this experience, the whole point of this exercise, is you're doing the old thing but better because the future has better things, and then the future better things are clearly inferior on the first second.
Or in the case of the Halo, it's like, it's great to be able to get like all these games on the PC so that you can have them and just, you know, play them at higher frame rates and higher resolutions as time goes on, and you just have them sitting there, right? Unless they're fucked.
Yeah.
Warcraft. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
Marvel 2 players not happy with the state of affairs on that game's ports either. That sucks. So anyway, that was happening. Alongside that, putting it out of my brain, happier memories and times, playing later Alligator. Have you seen or heard of this thing?
I've heard that Too Mellow worked on it. That's
Too
what I've heard.
Mellow made the soundtrack. It is cute. It is an adorable little adventure game where you play as a fixer of sorts, and you are in Alligator, New York City. The animation is incredible. It is all hand-drawn. It is incredibly charming. The music Too Mellow made is like absolutely perfect for the vibe. And you are basically walking around on behalf of your little buddy, Pat, the tiny, nervous alligator who's afraid that his family is trying to kill him. And
are you serious?
He is having constant nervous freakouts and panic attacks, and he is unable to deal with everyday life in a functional manner, and you basically have to go out and investigate what's going to happen to him, because he's super scared about how it's all going to go down. And
I should probably check this out.
It's quite interesting,
because I can definitely empathize with a anxious alligator named Pat.
And
a lot of people don't know this, but I actually am part alligator on my grandfather's side.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Pat, the anxious alligator, can be incredibly frustrating to deal with at times, but you have to hold his hand and lead him around and help him overcome his bullshit. And you do so, and it's great, and it's fun, and it's cute, and it's a good time. There's many games that you can enjoy, and there's many family members you can meet, and they kind of, they sort of explain what life is like in with the alligator in New York City. And every mini game is a completely different kind of game, and it's just 3 hours maybe, short.
So I'm on the Steam page for this. And probably the most shocking thing is that you've been referring to Alligator New York City, and I thought you were describing New York City that just happened to have alligators in it. The Steam description literally says Alligator New York City.
That's correct.
Like, alligator is capitalized.
Yes.
Okay.
You have cousins from Alligator, New Jersey.
Okay. All right. That basically explains what the game feels like perfectly in a single sentence.
It's wonderful.
Great.
It's a wonderful time, and it's really funny and cute writing. And yeah, it's just one of these things that deserves more attention on it because, I mean, a team of animators lovingly put this together. And I feel like, I got a couple recommendations here and there, but it's not something that I saw, pushed too aggressively on launch. So really happy, really fun time. And
it's a year old.
And it's got that little fun thing I like where it's like I like animation that like tries extra hard to look like unlabored and bad and childlike on purpose.
Yeah.
So Brendan Small did it with home movies, right? But there's other things like Sticking Around did it, and it's a thing where you just draw every figure in a way where even if it's someone's idol, they're always moving. The outlines are always moving because it looks like a child's drawing. And it's like, and it's an attempt to make things seem like they were hastily done, but it actually takes so much more effort to do that. It's incredible. Later Alligator is absolutely worth your time and your attention. Also decided to mix things up, go a couple of different ways. So I wanted to see what the deal was with Star Fox 2.
What's the deal with Star Fox 2 then?
Star Fox 2 is the game that never officially came out because it was made and completed, or at least 95% completed, but it never shipped because around the time that it was about to come out, 1996, was when it was going to be competing with the likes of 32-bit games and things like Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer?
Yes. The FX chip is way less impressive when it stands next to the competition at the time of 1996.
Yeah. It's not even close.
AKA, but like, 1996 being like one of the first fucking holy shit killer years, Now,
to be fair, in historical hindsight, the FX chip working on a cartridge is fucking magic. That shit's crazy.
Absolutely. And, Star Fox 1, Stunt Race FX, and all the other stuff was pretty wild at the time to see. Because, I'm still impressed by Mode 7. But, yeah, that shit is great, Like, it was really, really cool. But it then got included on the SNES Mini, which was a little bonus game where if you go and play a little bit of Star Fox 1, you can unlock Star Fox 2. They've localized it, they finished it, and you can go find out, And they said, hey, yeah, it wasn't gonna be competitive enough against all the other games that were like prettier at the time and stuff. Cool, all right. Mm-hmm. You boot that shit up, and it's like, oh, that is a very kind excuse.
No.
That is a very, very nice excuse that makes nobody who worked on the game feel bad about the job they did. Because the job they did was not very good.
Oh, no.
And I thought, hey, let me take an hour, play through this whole thing, because it's not very long. It takes about an hour to do. And then figure out how to... And then just see what the deal is. I'm like, yeah, I love me some fucking classic Star Fox. Let's get some more of that. I expected this to play as if I expected Lost Levels. Remember Mario Lost Levels?
I do. That was actually Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, right. I expected that. Just like, oh, more of the same on the same engine, more stages that we didn't play, more bosses we didn't fight, and maybe some rough edges here and there, but all in all, just they continued the formula, and they did not. They attempted to completely upend it into something else, which ends up making some of the other decisions in the franchise make a bit more sense, because right off the bat, it is not a rail shooter. It is an open map where there are different objective points, and as you move towards one, enemy movements are coming towards Corneria as well. And when you touch an enemy on the map, you then go into an all-range mode battle. But it's a really rough early version of all-range mode where flying and tracking and turning doesn't feel anywhere near as good as it does on 64. and it's really rough to keep anything in your sights, and it's oversensitive, and there's not many options you can do. You can change.
This sounds like shit.
It was a laborious affair, and by the time we went through a couple of stages of destroying some missiles and on the way to Corneria, fighting a member of Starwing who shows up. It's like, hey, look, it's Leon, and then Pigma. So like they made a cameo, and there's some new characters that never showed up anywhere else. There's a lynx and a rat and a dog. You then go to like one of these boss fights on like Venom or one of these starship carriers, and Andros is attacking. But each of these things is again just an all range mode mission. And I'm like, can I just get like a single one that is on the rails moving forward to a boss like everything that I really liked in Star Fox 1? And the answer is no. You can't get that because you're just going to get a really rough playing all range mode mission. And at some point you race towards the end of an area, make it inside, and you get like 2 seconds of a pathway inside of like Death Star. Then you go fight a boss inside of it and blow it up and get out. And it's just, it wasn't satisfying. When you die, you have permadeath. So you and a partner that you choose fly in. And if you die, your character is dead. And you can continue as the partner, or just game over. Or if your partner dies, then of course, again, you game over there too. So it's Star Fox bad playing with permadeath on it. I mean, the default control scheme changed. You can go back to the Star Fox 1 control scheme, but they pitched a different one by default that just was inferior, and I was like, why would you do that anyway? But it introduces different kinds of ships, but in the end, it doesn't make much difference because like it feels as if the turning is just rough no matter what. It sounds like
you just had the best time with this.
So after a 45-minute struggle, and I really, really wanted to enjoy what Star Fox 2 had, I just needed to find out. And I went back to Star Fox 1 and I, did it.
Yeah.
And then you do mission 1 and you're like, oh yeah, no, it's still perfect. It's still glorious. Star Fox 1 is still incredible. This game was a bad sequel and we dodged a bullet. It was the right move to cancel it and then let Star Fox 64 come out. It was 100% the right move.
I feel so bad for Star Fox as a franchise. I need to pull up a list here of how Star Fox, because people are mentioning Command Mission. There's a DS
Assault, yes, all of that shit. And that's
like, how many Star Fox games do we got here? We got
and the problem, right, in a way, is what you see in Star Fox 2 is a fucking curse that begins to haunt every other game afterwards. Because what did you want? Star Fox and more of it. Okay, Star Fox 64 is Star Fox and more of it. It gives you all range mode that works. It gives you the transformations and a really great battle mode. But there was still a fundamental just Star Fox game in there. And then the games afterwards all tried remixing the formula a lot. I didn't really play Assault, but I know a lot of people love Assault because you can jump out on foot into tank mode, into
not see. It's funny because I've never heard anything good about Assault ever.
I heard a lot of people kept talking about how much they loved Assault to me.
Okay,
but like when you get Command Mission going and you get like the remake the other day, and you just kind of get these weird things where you're like they keep trying, and I think it's Shiggy specifically. I think someone made a comment to the effect of like Shiggy did not want to just make more Star Fox. He deliberately wanted things to be like a reinvention of the game every time, and it just ends up being something where you're like, man, like what you had was great, and you keep trying to turn it into some weird tactical thing or some other thing, and I'm like, I just fly the plane, do the barrel roll, and shoot the bomb. Like, that's fun.
So I've
nothing
got
wrong with that.
I've got the list in front of me, right? So we've got Star Fox 64, Adventures, Assault, Command 0 and 2.
Yep.
We've got Star Fox for the Virtual Boy, Arcade, and Star Fox Warriors, which were all canceled. So that's 3 canceled games. And then we've got the Game & Watch version of Star Fox and Star Fox Guard. So that's like, I think, a total of 9 games total that actually came out. Star Fox, even though I don't like Star Fox 1, I'm not going to be crazy enough to say it's anything but a classic. But everybody's going to agree that Star Fox 64 is down there with like one of the all-time greatest games of all time ever.
Yep.
Easy. It's unbelievable.
Free.
And that's it? Since 93 in terms of like great games? Like, Jesus Christ.
164, unquestionable. Assault, hear good things, also hear mixed, but mostly good. And that's all we're talking about.
And even if you like Star Fox Adventures, I'm not saying you, I'm talking the royal you, but even if you like that game, that's not a Star Fox game, that's Dinosaur Planet.
Dinosaur Planet is Dinosaur Planet. That doesn't count. And you can go play Dinosaur Planet and fly between planets to get your space missions if you want. But yeah, and the core of this feels like it's based on the idea that they want to do everything but let you just fly the plane and shoot. They're trying to do everything else with it, and it's like, please, just like if Mario is run and jump man, Star Fox is fly and pew in the hallway. Fly and pew in the hallway.
I have.
It's not that hard.
Might be the most direct. What do you call it? Direct, like, comparison point to Star Fox in a series, because Star Fox, I feel like you have very profoundly made the point that all they need to do is make a Star Fox game, and they're just desperate to not make Star Fox games for whatever reason, right? There is another Just Fly the Plane game that came out in 1993 and has been a franchise the whole time. That is a game, an arcade game called Air Combat. It was followed up by the 1995 console game, Air Combat, at which point they changed the name in 97 to Ace Combat. There are way more Ace Combat games than 7. There's 1, 2, 3, the arcade, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Advance, 0, X, 6, XI, Joint Assault, Assault Horizon Legacy, Assault Horizon Triggerfinger, Northern Wings, Infinity, Legacy Plus, which I think is just Ace Combat 2 on the 3DS, and 7. And the thing that has maintained through almost every single one of those games is, hey, motherfucker, do you want to fly in the plane and get behind the other plane until your missiles lock and then hit the circle button twice and then the plane explodes and the music is good?
I mean,
you want to just fly the plane?
The pedigree of Star Fox is you're a Nintendo character. Like, that on its own should be a very successful franchise that carries you many games deep into the future. And now we're in a state where people still love Star Fox characters, and people are very happy with them in Smash Brothers, and are like, hey, look, it's all the boys. Oh, Star Wolf's in. But when it comes to the actual source games, the fact that the only thing anyone can talk about recently is the cameo in an entirely different game, Starlink, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Starlink is a lot of fun, and when you get the Star Fox DLC for Starlink, that's a really fun Star Fox adventure.
Kind of feels like,
and it's like, yeah, it's a different game with Star Fox in it.
I feel like the Ace Combat connection, and yes, they're obviously different games, it's just planes are the similarity and sticking to their formula, but the Ace Combat connection does have one perfect gem for us. Do you remember? You must remember Ace Combat Assault Horizon, which was the realistic one, the one that took place in real countries. That game's big claim was not even that it was the realistic one that took place in real countries. It was, hey, we heard you. and how much flying the plane is not enough for you. Wouldn't you love a helicopter mission that's terrible?
Right.
What about AC-130 missions that are terrible? And it makes me think of every Star Fox trailer or fucking show off that I'm like, now you can be on foot. Who gives a shit? I just want to fly the R-Wing.
So this whole thing is made even more sour when you consider that of this list of things that are trying to do other things besides fly the plane and pew, there's a game on here that is very much clearly fly the plane and pew. Star Fox Zero is just Star Fox.
Except,
the problem is that they forced a stupid control scheme on everybody and they made it mandatory. Like, if you just let people play with a controller and be fine, that would have been fine. Star Fox Zero would have been a fine new Star Fox game, but it fucking forces the stupid gyro shit on you.
Oh man, there was an interview with a developer of that game that accidentally exposed the problem with like the Wii U's controls, which was like, we're having trouble balancing the aiming because it's awkward for people to look between their TV and the screen back and forth over and over.
Like,
and it's like, oh,
yeah?
You mean the thing everyone said was the problem?
And it's just like, you made, like, the game was partially, like, assets were created by Platinum. Like, they had this whole thing where, like, the game that is happening is what you've been looking for, but now you've taken away the steering wheel and handed me a bag of spaghetti. And just said, here, find a way. You know, you're just like, but I can see it. I can see the game I want to play on the TV right now. I just can't interface with it in any way. Just let me.
It's also really weird because even if they're trying to go through, it's like flying a space plane. Like, you don't hold up a different piece of equipment in your plane to look at to aim. You just have the screen underneath the view window, pretty much always within your frame of vision that you flick your eyes down to.
And so, and I think I actually said this some time ago, but it's like, and now we enter the world where, hey, you know all these dumb gimmicks you've been trying to run with this thing? Okay, well, guess what exists now? VR. This is the one actual gimmick that would go perfectly hand in hand with this franchise if you want to run all your gimmicks all day. And do you have anything to do for VR? No, you don't.
Of course not.
We got to grab some cardboard and put it on our heads. All right. Well, thanks. Like, thanks. The one time where it's ripe for the picking.
Yeah, you know what? You know why there's no VR for Nintendo and definitely not for Star Fox? I'll tell you why. Because Miyamoto and the teams, they were all talking about it. And they were like, hey, should we do a VR Star Fox game? And then Shinji-san, a character I just made up, goes, yeah, man, we should totally do a VR Star Fox game, Miyamoto-san. And Miyamoto's like, why? And then Shinji-san is like, imagine how close you could get to Star Fox's fur. It's almost like you could smell it. And they're like, we're not doing that. Star Fox is canceled. Everyone is fired. True story that I made up.
No, just gather all the papers off the desk and into the furnace they go. Back to your desks.
We're doing cardboard.
Back to your desks. Like, think about Res VR and how magical that experience was. Now think about an R-Wing and flying in front of you. Like, fuck off, man. It's so...
You know what would need to be, like, required for Star Fox? It would need to be, like, everything's in VR and everything's immaculate, and then, like, a text prompt comes up and Peppy's going to talk to you, but instead of Peppy talking, it's still... Yep. And you have to read it.
Yeah. And when you press the back button /select button and you go into cockpit mode, where you're flying in the cockpit. If you look around, you need to see the fur and feathers.
Yeah.
Or the slippy skin. You need to see it.
Oh, right. That's enough. That's enough.
And every once in a while, you get a little frog blink going over your vision sideways.
Oh, yeah. You got to look down at where Slippy has the pile of sloughed off skin that he uses as a foot ottoman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then you press the back button.
I just saw somebody go, why does Wooly always do this? And it's right. Yeah, you always do this. You always, right before you leave a topic that has anything to do with animals or anything, you always go, hey, what if?
You prompted
it was gross.
Shinji-san's creepiness in the boardroom.
That's not creepy. Wouldn't you want to pet a fox?
And I just yes-anded it. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Wouldn't you want to pet a fox? They're
yes. Cute. Yes, they are. In fact, I've gone on what might be at least a half an hour long rant across the entirety of Tsushima, getting super mad at every shrine that didn't let you pet the fox. Fuck those shrines. They're horseshit, and they need to be removed from the fucking game.
But some of them don't.
And then suddenly, for no fucking reason, every time I'm playing on my own time, off camera, I get a good shrine where I get the pet in. And I get good pets. And I took some fucking pictures of it, and it was great. And he jumps, and his tail flips up, and he loves it. And then whenever I get a fox shrine on camera, it's some stupid mountainside where you squeeze through a path, and you honor the shrine, and you turn around, and the fox is like, yeah, I'm out of here, because I'm going to die if we both stand on this thing. And I'm like, I don't get my fucking pets going. It sucks. I hate those shrines. Anyway,
man, that sucks shit.
It's so lame. There's some really good ones where it's like open, beautiful field of red roses. There's a shrine in the middle of it, and then you go in and you honor it, and then he's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And you walk over and you give him a little shuka, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll catch you next time." And then you have another one where you climb a fucking stupid tree branch and fall your ass off and then honor a shrine, and then he's like, I gotta go, man. I can't fucking...
Reminds me of when I was playing Yakuza 0 off camera, and there would be some side quests that I just couldn't avoid because I'd walk into them. I'm like, I might as well do them. And then I would go online and see the comments on the newest episode and be like, can't wait to see the side quest that I don't know that Pat just completed off camera on camera. That's like the best one in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that's always great. That's always great. For what it's worth, I completed a mission where fucking side quest, spoiler alert, but you come across a side quest moment where there's a bunch of fox carcasses just strewn about, bloodied up.
You're like, this is not cool at all.
And then the Mongols are like absolutely wrecking foxes left and right and just tossing them around because they're like, yeah, fuck these things. I don't know, maybe we can use them, maybe not. And you just go into full-on ghost stance rage, and you slaughter them all, and then I get my armor set, and I dye it white and orange, and then I rock an armor set that is the fox set, and then you complete another quest, and you get the fox mask, and I'm like, this is my set for the rest of the game.
It's fox time now.
It's fox time forever for the rest of the fucking game. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Anyway, I firmly went away from that, put the SNES Mini back in its box and back on the shelf. That's a killer list, by the way. Just in case you forget the list of games on the SNES Mini, it has fucking everything.
They chose the right games.
I ended up getting the Famicom Mini because there was a different... I forgot what the name, what it was. It might have been like a Mega Man or there's something on the Famicom Mini that I wanted that was not on the NES Mini. But for the SNES, yeah, they got it all in there. They got Contra and F-Zero and Castlevania and Kirby Superstar, Punch-Out.
Imagine if they could get all those great games onto a
Final Fantasy and
digital service or something.
Well, but yeah, no Chrono Trigger. That's true. They had FF instead. Yeah. Well, anyway. back on the shelf that went, and then I checked out Mario Galaxy 2. And the reason why, it's a weird pick, but it's because when they announced the All-Star Pack recently, and everyone was quick to point out how Mario Galaxy 2 was fucking missing.
It's a crime.
And they were pointing out how criminal it was that it was missing, because they were like, that was like the best Mario game. And I'm like,
it's my favorite Mario game.
Yeah. So fucking everyone was saying that, right? And I'm like, hold on a minute. My favorite Mario game is Mario Galaxy 1. I thought Mario Galaxy 1 was the greatest thing they've ever made. And it's like, yeah, it's better than that. I'm like, what? So it's Mario Galaxy 2 time, because I need to find out what the fuck I missed. Because that's insane. Right. You know?
Yeah.
I liked Odyssey a lot, but Galaxy to me is just, that's
Odyssey
the peak.
Felt like it had tons of filler, man. Like just
I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun,
for
but
moon's sake.
I enjoyed the refreshing take that was Galaxy way more. I enjoyed the Le Petit Prince, the kind of small planets, the physics, the change in style. Like, we had never played a platformer like that. You know what I mean? And like, I was like, fucking kudos to Mario for being a franchise that found a brand new way to enter a new, you know, like thing. Like the naming convention works because you're going from land to world to galaxy, and then like the style change works because we've already been 3D, but we've never been 3D like this. So it really did feel like an amazing step up, and it ended up being like glorious, and the music and all of that. So I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know, you know? So I'm finding out now what's going on with Mario Galaxy 2, and it seems great. So
what are you playing it on? How are you playing it?
I'm playing it with a Wiimote and nunchuck.
Okay.
So, you know, the way it was intended. And and I've got Reggie's on the co-op with the co-op mode, so you can do the thing. So that's in there too. And yeah, it's great. I'm like, oh man, I remember how much fun I had, and why I loved, like, a big part of this is going from planet to planet in this big old beautiful flying moment where you can like sometimes interrupt it with a spin to go somewhere else. And I'm like, the same reason why I love jetpacks and swinging is because of this aerial momentum feeling, which Mario gets to do multiple times per stage in this franchise. Like, Galaxy is wonderful. It's so good.
It's great.
And yes, this is all made especially interesting because this is Reggie's first 3D Mario game, period.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nuts. Completely.
You know what this makes me think of? I'm actually super excited for 3D World, or the re-release of that, because that's probably my second favorite Mario game.
It is the second best one that I played.
That game's incredible, and it doesn't have any of the Wii U stuff. Instead, it had the gamepad stuff, but the gamepad stuff will be gone. So fucking hooray!
3D World was the second best game in my opinion. Yeah, it was beautiful. Like it's. I think it's very clear. Like, these are the standouts, you know. So, yeah. No, Reggie dodged a lot of games and didn't have access to many things. So we're increasing his exposure slowly but surely. So yeah, Galaxy 2 is currently being played on the docket, and that's all going down at Wooly Versus, alongside, you know, ODST now on Xbone format, and 13 Sentinels, which we mentioned earlier. Which also has an interesting thing, too, that I didn't really realize. I thought it was going to be entirely turn-based, but it's not. It's real-time with pause.
Yeah.
You have to actually manage your placement intelligently.
There's only one thing in the entire game that I think is somewhat awkward from a control period, and that is the first second of a battle, where if you don't hit that fucking D-pad to pick a character, they'll just sit there.
So I was about to bring up the fact that there is actually, if you're a passive player who thinks that the game is turn-based, you'll sit and wait and waste time while nothing happens, and then the game will pick somebody, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't let you go too long without automatically selecting someone once they're ready. But like there are times when someone is available and you will not be, and time will be moving forward, and you're like, what's happening? And then the game goes, oh yeah, now do something here. But you could have manually interrupted and done something before that.
Yeah, what I end up doing is I give every single person something to do, even if it's just movement, and then I play them as their turns come up. Save for the characters that have really, really expensive skills, like there's the Shinonome has the bandage girl. She ends up getting the ability to throw down 2 sentry guns at once, but it costs a ton.
Okay.
So I end up just being like, throw down the sentries. Now sit there. Defend until I can throw down 2 more sentries. That's all you need to do. That's all you do.
Armor piercer, fucking expensive as well. The armor piercing melee attack, you know, and like
that game has so many upgrade potentials. Oh, I have a really good piece of advice for you that's very important that I found out this morning. When you get the ability to upgrade the mechs, like not the moves, but the mechs themselves, the bottom option is called Neuralink. If you upgrade that to level 2, people can go 3 battles without going into brain overload instead of just 2.
Okay, that's a mechanic I haven't encountered yet, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Just remember, Neuralink to level 2, you can go 3 battles instead of 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that means yet, but sure. Something Elon Musk. What?
Pretty much, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, also that game's title I have some issues with. I'm like, 13 Sentinels, you say?
Oh man! Oh, I hate it! The first battle in the game, Sentinel 16 reporting like
what? I was no. They have no chill.
It's 13 remaining.
Exactly. That's the vibe I'm getting. But
like
the level of
damn it.
And it keeps going upwards progressively in a way that's like, fuck you if you thought you understood what this number was. You know? Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. Anyway. This week is also special because there's only a couple days left, but I talked about it. Code Mystics updated their KOF 2002 not Ultimate Match. I keep fucking it up. Wait. It's KOF 2002 Unlimited Match. There we go.
Oh, okay. With netcode. Good netcode.
With the good netcode. And when you go to your copy of the game, you go on Steam, go to properties, switch it to beta mode, and when you go into beta, you can play online with everybody playing rollback. Rollback is perfect. It's fucking flawless. I played against someone in Denmark and had not a hint of a problem. I played against someone in Brazil and had not a hint of a problem.
Other than the fact you were playing somebody from Brazil.
Laughs in Portuguese. I think that, this is one of those times where it's getting a huge resurgence right now because of this, right? It's a good game. People already loved it. It's got everything in it. But
is 2002 Unlimited a good one?
Yes.
Okay, it's hard to tell. There's so many.
Yeah, it's a good one because it's a dream match that puts fucking everyone back into it.
Okay. Oh, that's the one with Nightmare Geese, right?
It's got it's probably the biggest roster of any KOF game, actually.
All right.
Because 98 Ultimate Match added in everybody and then like added a bunch of modes and fun stuff. And I love me some 98. It's the one that I first started on. It's where a lot of my love for KOF comes from. But the actual, by the time you get through the full roster of 2002 UM, it's up in the Marvel category. Like it's gotta be over 40. You know, I don't know the full count, but it's gotta be over 40 characters.
Does it have Vanessa?
Of course it does.
Okay.
So yeah, it's got flawless rollback, and it's got a lot of great shit in it, and 66 characters. There you go. Right, that's the end.
That is in the Marvel territory.
Yeah, you can go press start on a bunch of them to get alternate versions of them. You know, like it's just one of these things that just keeps it going. So anyway, that's going through a resurgence and was a good time. We had a lot of fun with that. And shout outs to Kaiser Wave and SNK for giving some codes out to the people. We got to kind of, you know, get some more people to jump on it. And yeah, it's just one of these times where you're like, man, I sure do hope that KOF 15
uses this shit.
Doesn't make the mistake of not using this. But you have to remember that this is Code Mystics doing this, not SNK.
Wouldn't it be funny if KOF 15 went back to sprites?
I mean,
and they were new sprites, and they're like, well, that's why the roster's only 10 characters this time, because we're doing the new sprites.
Listen, don't play with me. Don't fuck with me, Tony. Okay? Don't fuck with me. I don't need that in my life. I've already accepted that we're in a world of 3D that is subpar but functional, and that's what they can afford because they got bought by that company, and that company said, this is your budget now, so it is what it is. Samurai Showdown was fine. KOF 14 in the end got improved, but still looks the way it does. Dear God, I would kill to fucking have a slashed roster that returns to what we had in 13. Because it like the beauty of 13 is a statement for sprites. And like it actually was one of those things where Exerd comes out and challenges that aesthetic by going into an incredible 3D direction that like you're like, oh my God, that looks like anime, of course. But sprites were held up by KOF 13 up until 13 Sentinels, mind you.
They don't like in KOF 13. It doesn't need to look like anime because it is anime.
Sure.
It is 2D animation that looks incredible and perfect. Like
that being said, of course, Vanillaware is dropping the most beautiful sprite-based game ever made right now.
Yeah, like, it's out of control.
It's number one. It's just number one, and that's the end of that. But it's also doing their vector style, and it's a different thing. But it's just there's nothing competing. But yeah, whatever 15 is, like at the very least, I will take 3D with dramatic lighting change.
Like Sam Showdown. Like just at least as good as Sam Showdown.
Dramatic lighting change. I'll take that, you know? Yeah. There's a side by side of like Nakaruru from 14 and Nakaruru from Sam Show, and it's just like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. But anyway, that's all stuff that we were doing this week, and that was over on Wooly Versus. You can tune in on Wooly Versus on YouTube and on Twitch if you want to see more of the games that we talked about. And we got some fun stuff continuing. Really exciting, all these new games going on. New season. It's refreshing to sit down and...
It's a new season.
It's a new day.
I've been in a kind of like variety thing for quite a bit.
Rest in peace, New Day.
Where like I haven't had a long running thing for quite some time, and I guess that makes sense because the long running games are coming, Wooly. That November is gonna be fucking crazy with Deaths and Cyberpunk, and there's another one. I forgot Yakuza 7 coming. All in the same fucking week.
Well, I am the stubborn shore that like occasionally moves according to the tides when something new comes out, but my preference is to pick something that I'm excited about over something that's just hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of good shit coming in November. You're not lying. I'll see how things are shaking up, but like, yeah, it's, to me, it's like, hey man, they're not going anywhere. You know, they'll be here. So, with that,
and now 2 hours into the podcast that we both agreed we would try and keep shorter this week.
yes,
Let's go. Let's hit up on that news.
yes. I mean, I noticed that the pacing of the discussion while you were talking about Baldur's Gate was faster, and like I was cutting you off a bit more.
I'm trying.
We are trying, but there's a lot to say.
This is the best you can get.
We're trying very hard.
Yeah.
But before we continue to try, or to strive to try, let's take a word from our sponsors.
Hey, who do we have sponsoring the podcast this week?
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Babbel.
Hey, Babbel, what up?
Language. It's the language tool. You get your ability to communicate with human beings up. Here's what you do. It's basically a tried and true way to learn languages, to commit them to your brain, to use real phrases that are actually going to help you, and not waste your time with some rip-off services and bad classes with a teacher that don't care about you. You don't want to be Skyping in or Zooming in to some calls with somebody that's like basically like ignoring you and going, yeah, sounds great, keep it going, and ba-da-da.
Listen, take it from somebody who did 12 years of French and is still terrible at it. Learning languages can be difficult.
But there are ways to get past it. Time, effort, and money, of course, always make a huge difference. But hey, Babbel's good at getting the roadblocks out of the way. Because, yeah, basically it's got a setup that uses over 100 language experts and their teaching methods that have been scientifically proven to be effective across multiple studies. It has speech recognition technology to improve pronunciation and accents, over 14 languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. And you're going to be doing daily lessons, 10 to 15 minutes, and they start teaching you words and phrases that are practical, that you're going to use in everyday conversations. So it'll get you speaking a language within weeks.
If we had used Babbel before this podcast to learn British English, we would know about Sozzled Bonking.
We would have known. We would have known about plonking and being plonkers. But unfortunately, we didn't. So yeah, what you want to do is check it out as the app or online. You can do all of your lessons and have them synced from one to the other. So right now, when you purchase a 3-month subscription, Babbel will give our listeners 3 additional months for free with the promo code CASTLE. So that's 3 additional months free if you go to babbel.com and use promo code CASTLE on your 3-month subscription. That's BABBEL.com promo code CASTLE. Thanks, Babbel.
Thanks, Babbel.
The podcast is also sponsored by Fubo TV, which,
hey, Fubo,
as previously discussed, this is the way to basically get yourself away from cable and away from the garbage that cable has been holding you back. But you still want to get your sports. You still want to get your live events and your special primetime TV, but you don't want to have that garbage contract. You don't want the ripoffs. You don't want all the terrible abuse that comes with holding onto the cord.
You just don't want cable.
You just don't want it. It's awful. Fubo TV lets you get rid of all of that, but still gives you access to everything you're looking for with your live sports news, primetime TV. And yeah, instead of paying for a monthly cable cost over $200, ripping you off, big old set-top boxes and nonsense, Fubo TV is $65 a month to watch the same channels, and you don't have to pay for DVR or installation. So you get the access to over 100 channels, cloud DVR, no hidden fees, stream your shows on your TV or any other smart device, major broadcast and cable networks, so you can find everything you're looking for. It's got your favorites. It's got, just everything, all the advantages and none of the downsides of cable. And on demand, right there, with no risk to try it out, full access to Fubo TV for 7 days for free. Right now, Fubo TV is offering our listeners 7 days of a free trial and 15% off your first month by going to FuboTV.com/SuperBeast. There's no contracts and you can cancel anytime. Go to FuboTV.com/SuperBeast for 15% off your first month and a free trial. That's FuboTV.com/SuperBeast.
Thanks, Fubo.
Thank you, Fubo. And last but not least, the podcast is sponsored by Honey. And as previously...
It's not just delicious.
It's not.
It can also save you money.
There you go. I wish I could just take a bottle of honey and pour it over my wallet and watch the savings fall out. But that's not the way it works.
That would be terrible. Don't do that.
No, then you have a pocket full of honey, and then you probably start attracting bees.
You don't want bees. You just want the honey.
And the bees are not going to save you money. It's just a bad time. You're walking around with bees in your pocket, and everyone's like, what the fuck's up with that guy? He's got the bees.
And then you pull out your pocket like a person in a cartoon would do to show that they're broke. But instead, bees.
You can avoid this horrible pocket bee scenario by doing what we're talking about here with which is not real honey, but Honey, the sponsor. Online shopping is pretty much the only shopping you're doing these days. So that's how life is going at the moment. So why not have a browser extension that will scour the internet for promo codes and automatically apply them to your cart before you check out to save you money. It's one click from what you were about to spend, and just like that, bam, cash back in your pocket, in your wallet, without the honey mess or the bees anywhere.
They might even add promo codes that we've mentioned for other sponsors on this podcast.
Just like that. So here's how it works. You get honey on your get honey on your computer, free in 2 easy clicks. Then you check out one of any of the 30,000 supported sites. Honey will pop up, and you click the button Apply Coupons. Wait a couple seconds. It'll search for coupons, and then it'll apply them right to your cart. And that's how it's worked for over 17 million members who've received over $2 billion in savings. So it supports all kinds of retailers, tech, gaming sites, fashion brands, and even food delivery. It's a wide variety of online shopping that you can save money on with Honey. It's that simple. If you have a computer, Honey should be on it. It's free and it works on whatever browser you use. And you can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/superbeast. That's joinhoney.com/superbeast. So they know that we sent you. And thank you, Honey, for supporting today's episode.
Thanks, Honey.
All right.
Before we move into the news, I have a quick statement that I have to make, a correction of my earlier words.
Okay.
Despite mummies being used for medicinal purposes, party favors, paint, interior decor, paper, stage props, fertilizer, fake relics, and fundraising expenses, they apparently were not burned for train fuel, as it was Mark Twain, the son of a bitch, who invented that as an urban legend. Fuck you, Mark Twain.
Mark Twain rules.
Mark Twain punked me from hundreds of years beyond the grave.
That's awesome. You got fucking twained, bro. You got twained. The original stand-up comedian himself.
If I could hang out with Picard on the Enterprise and fucking go back in time in that fucking season 5 cliffhanger where they hang out with Mark Twain, I would punch him in the dick.
How does it feel to get rocked from 200 years in the past?
Weird, because there's nothing I can do. There's like... Guy's skeleton probably isn't even around anymore.
That's incredible, man. With all the information and technology and things we have right now, we are having a live discussion with no wires attached to our bodies.
It's crazy.
In the comforts of our own homes.
That's magic.
With an audience watching us.
Thanks, audience. Hello.
And you just got rocked from 200 years ago.
Yeah, well, fuck that. You want to talk about kick, Vanessa?
I do, but you can also double down and reiterate that just because that was a lie doesn't mean that the British family gets off any slack.
Oh, no. They're ghouls. They're literally ghouls. They eat flesh.
Okay, so Guilty Gear Strive announced a new character with their stream event yesterday. Giovanna is now...
Also named Kick Vanessa.
Sure. She is not a punch girl. She's a kick girl. She is a member of the Secret Service, and she is a defender and protector of the President of the United States of America, who is not Chip.
Not anymore.
For those who are not up to date on the lore, Chip is not the president of the U.S. He is the president of the Chip territories, which are located somewhere in Africa, but that is not...
Guilty Gear is so stupid.
It's got a lot going on.
It's
got a lot going on. So, what do we know about Giovanna? Well, one, I'm going to say, and this is like, I'm hard locking this rule because we've seen Sea Viper show up as an SNK design in Street Fighter. We're now seeing an SNK design in Guilty Gear. And this now underlines and like chisels in stone the fact that business casual is the best design choice for fighting games.
It's really crazy at like the similarities between all three of them. Two of them are dark skinned, all three of them are redheads, and they all wear business casual.
Business casual is the absolute peak of character designs in fighting games. Straight up. This is going in the books, and I'm locking it down. No one has any complaints about it. It's wonderful.
I was thinking like the best King costume is where she has the coat off.
The best KOF costumes are where they're dressed down. Where you've got Iori's wearing his shirt, his dress shirt, his nice pants. Kyo's just chilling. Everyone is looking business casual. And they have all that artwork of them just hanging out in the backgrounds. When you're watching some shit like Bleach, what are you checking out and going, oh shit to? Not the Bleach episodes itself. You're checking out that ending where they're hanging out at the bar, all dressed in business casual.
Rugal looks great in his original outfit, not in his final boss, like, tank top, whatever the fuck that thing is.
Okay. What else do we know about Giovanna? She is a kick girl. She does kicks. She is from Brazil, but she is not doing capoeira necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
She is simply fighting with her feet, and she also has a big old doggo that appears
magic
to be
dog,
like a stand of sorts. Mm-hmm. And there are speculations as to what this might be. I suspect it might be a forbidden beast. I think
probably
there is a possibility that she will join Eddie and Angra as one of the forbidden beasts, which means we don't know what was sacrificed for that to be the case. The doggo's name is Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray, of course, means zero in Japanese. But
wow.
But in Portuguese, it means king.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So there's something interesting about that, right? We'll see. Furthermore, you want to take a look at the design, and you've got this cool color contrast with the the green blue energy dog color, and it's got a fucking little symbol on its head, and it looks like a recycling symbol with a heart in the middle of it.
Yes,
Now,
which we now know means that this magic dog loves recycling.
well, here's the thing. All right. You might not recall this because why would you? But I described that when I went to Japan the first time, we went to an Airbnb, and the person who was there pointed out to us that the recycling was divided into different sections, and one of those sections that it's divided into was for plastic bottles. We had a hard time figuring out what the fuck he was talking about because he didn't call them plastic bottles. He called them the acronym PET. Petto. And I was like, what the fuck is petto? What do you want me to do with this? And PET, as it turns out, is what they call plastic bottles there. The reason why they call plastic bottles PET is because it stands for polyurethane, whatever. It's a long specific term for the type of plastic. Okay, the symbol with the triangles on his forehead, it looks identical to the recycling PET symbol that you see on PET bottle things in Japan. Therefore, the icon is a pun for the word pet.
That's stupid.
Yeah, well, too late.
Oh, shit.
And guess what? She pets the dog.
Oh, man.
Literally pet the dog.
What if the pet? What if the dog recycles hearts?
It might be that. But as far as we can tell, it's simply a pun based on polyethylene terephthalate, aka
Listen,
pet.
I just want Giovanna's character to just be obsessed with recycling. That's what I want. I want her to talk about the environment and for her to be like, I'll recycle you into a nice biodegradable chair.
She looks like the type that's no nonsense and probably very serious about her job, but there's definitely going to be more of a quirk than just that. If Answer is any clue, Answer's very serious about his job too, but as a bodyguard to the president, he's also very particular and weird about managerial things. So she probably has some quirks that we have to find out. Yeah, looks fucking solid, and rip to anybody who saw that silhouette and saw the length of the hair, because Eno fans on Suicide Watch.
Oh yeah,
because that's the exact.
But you know
cut.
what fans aren't on Suicide Watch?
Anji Mito.
So Anji Mito is weird because it's a character that I never liked and never met anyone who liked.
I hate Anji Mito.
But I also hate Anji Mito. But every time there's a new character slot, there's this wailing from the distance. It's Anji Mito! I love him. He's the biggest of fans.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
the lady that was announcing the event was that girl. The lady at the Arxis event, like after they cut back to the end of the trailer, she just had her hands on her mouth and was like,
yeah,
because she was all about that Anji fuckboy look, which he is a supreme Japanese fuckboy. Make no mistake. I had no concern for Anji Mito in general as a member of the cast, but upon realizing that he was being shipped with Baiken, I turned that complete disinterest into disdain, because
listen,
she can do so much better.
Yeah, like you?
No.
Is that where this is going?
No, but someone did say, I was not going there at all. I'm like, Baiken can do so much better than fuckboy Anji Mito. And they keep shoving them together. And I'm like, God damn it, that ain't the case, right? And then someone was like, okay, but what about Baiken Nagoryuki, though? And I'm like, stop it! The world is not ready. The world is not ready.
The guy,
The world ain't ready for that. That's not the place to take it.
And what if he had green hair?
No, not at all. Let him be.
What if?
Let him be the vampire that he is. That's fine. That's okay. It doesn't need to be that. Tell you what. I say this as someone who...
so obvious.
Motherfucker, let's listen. Let's go back for a second here. Because remember, I'm the person who says, I like Mitsuru. She's the best girl in that game.
Uh-huh.
But I think that she's paired off with the other senpai. Let that be its thing. So I'm more than... I look at it like main character or whoever the case is. In some cases, I look at it and go, that relationship with someone else in the cast is more important than whatever personal ones you want to take from them.
Yeah, and you're saying that Mitsuru's relationship with Akihiko is more important than Baiken's relationship to you. It's very obvious.
I would gladly take...
It's just different because it's Baiken.
How about I would gladly take literally anyone else on the cast being paired with her, including... like people that are not even around anymore, and including like, her just walking around solo, just being chill on her own.
Even Bedman. Really?
I don't like Anji Mito. He's a fuckboy. Anji Mito is a fuckboy.
And how dare he go after your pure Baiken?
Oh my god! Listen, all right. The weird thing of no, my idols need to be available to me to keep the illusion going is some dumb shit, because this is one of those cases of look at Baiken's personality, look at the no nonsense type she is. Fuck Anji. He's not the kind. He's not gonna do it right. He can't handle it.
You're right, Wooly. This is totally different. This is just, oh, you don't have to be with me, but don't be with him. He's the worst. You're better than him. Even though you got the one arm.
Well, Baiken outside of the equation, Anji Mito sucks. Like, he's just
Anji Mito sucks.
Let's
all take a step back.
Anji Mito's lame.
Anji Mito sucks.
I'm in favor of a good ass pairing between my two fictional characters, and Anji Mito sucks. I want a better pair. I want someone else. I want anyone else or no one. Give me something.
Do you think Anji Mito could be saved?
If you turned him into not Anji Mito, yeah, sure.
That's good, yes.
Like, even his like, just his existence is, I'm a bored guy that lives in the colonies. I'm a go just wander around and ask people stuff. It's like,
you know what I'm just thinking of?
Bah.
Do you know why Anji Mito has to be the one for Baiken?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're Japanese.
Yes, exactly. You didn't realize that?
I just realized that.
No, that's the plot point. That's the reason why they're pushed. Why they're together, but they're not together. But they're like why you see them.
They have to keep the strong Japanese pure.
Exactly.
Save the world from the gears.
Yes, that's the plot, and it sucks. That's not what I want. That's not what I want to be the case. It is totally.
You're like, we need to mix it up.
You know. I mean, he can go hang out with Mei. She's Japanese. They can have whatever pure lines they need. And then fucking, you know what? Fuckboy Johnny, who's also a fuckboy, he could get it. I got no problems with that.
Wait a second. You wait just a goddamn minute.
Sure.
Fuckboy Anji Mito is not good enough for Baiken, but Johnny Pedo Airship /man is good enough for Baiken.
Johnny is on the level that is above everything that represents what Anji Mito is, because Anji Mito sucks.
I will echo a statement I just saw scroll past me, which is in all caps. I don't think Baiken is Johnny's type.
You know, officially, Mei is an adult. Her age is officially whatever it needs to be in your country.
Whatever it is in your country.
Whatever your country needs that age to be, it's above that. Yeah. All right. Anyway, this is getting off the rails. I don't even.
That might have been the first time I ever looked at a character description and said "fuck off." Was when I was reading the Guilty Gear XX manual on PS2, and it said May was 18 years old, and I went "fuck off."
Yeah,
Johnny wrote that manual.
I don't know where this yes and is gonna go, and it's getting a bit wild. But the point remains. There's a simple thought. Anji Mito sucks. Giovanna rules, and we're done.
Anji Mito sucks.
But that's the extent of why. That's it. That's the end of it. It's like Anji Mito sucks. Therefore, anything being attached to him also sucks. And Biken doesn't suck, so don't attach Biken to him, please.
It drives me crazy that he has one of the outrages.
Yeah, sorry. Too bad. Zessen.
Like that immediately puts him like way up there on the in-universe tier list.
He took it. Too bad.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, I don't feel like if you were to throw whoever was going to get dragged down with Anji, I was going to have strong words for them too. So it is what it is. Anyway, he's coming back, and he'll probably, you know, be.
He put a shirt on.
Did he? It looks like it's still revealing shoulders there.
Yeah, but there is a shirt.
Also, there is a model of him in Exerd in the story.
Oh yeah.
That is just he's off camera, making a phone call at one point. So, but there is a model.
Don't worry, guys. I'm still hot.
Anyway, we don't know how this is going to go, but that leaves one remaining character. One remaining character. We don't know who or what it'll be. I hope it's someone new, but
I hope it's Leopoldon.
If they bring back Leopoldon, that would be really cool. That would be great. I have no problems with that. Same thing goes for Abba. Same thing goes for Zappa.
Yeah, I was just thinking Abba. Yeah.
Abba's weird and great. Zappa is in the story. He exists. He has a modern incarnation. You can see him unpossessed and kind of normal and trying to live his life in a way that it is ghost free. So yeah, who knows? But this is off the point. If they're going like plot wise and stuff like that, like it'd be cool to just someone else new. That's cool. So far, these new characters are great. They've also, of course, there's going to be a season of DLC to come with it, so expect the roster to keep expanding. And we got to see some gameplay of
get Bridget in there.
No, that's all right. No, we're good.
It's time for Bridget.
No, it's not.
The world is finally ready for Bridget.
We can leave Bridget behind.
Now that Genshin Impact is popular, there is time and room for Bridget. Now that Femboy Hooters is a real location, I didn't check that. That's probably not true. We can have Bridget. Come on.
Pat, you were just going in on Johnny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but not that much time has passed between Double X and Strive. It's only been a couple years.
All right.
Believe me when I say, let Bridget chill in the background for now.
Okay.
Unless you want to go hang out with your boy Johnny in the van.
I don't want to hang out with Johnny.
It sounds like you want to hang out with Johnny.
I don't want to hang out with Johnny.
Well, then put down the Bridget signs and walk away. Because you're not in good company trying to get Bridget going. Anyway.
Wait, people are saying Bridget would be in her 20s.
Bridget, at this point, I don't think that math is true. Does that add up?
Because now you look stupid.
Well, first of all, yeah. Bridget in his 20s, if anything, is the statement there. Did you never catch that part of it?
Pardon?
You're aware that Bridget's a boy, right?
Yeah, I'm more.
Okay. Because it sounds like you got baited.
No.
Okay.
Dumbass.
Okay. Giovanna has some cool kick moves, and so far that's all we can infer from her design. I think we're probably going to see, a season of DLC pretty much right off the bat, which this is just what fighting games are now. And, I don't like that the launch roster is immediately to be not taken seriously in fighting games. It's just become a standard affair to, you drop it and then right away you go, here's season 1, here's another 4 or 5 or whatever the case is.
Apparently the season pass is going to have more storyline.
I mean, if they handle it the way Mortal Kombat did, then I could see that happening. I mean, yeah, I don't know. They can throw in some, the way Revelator came out, it added to the story as well, and then Rev 2 added some extra scenes. So, as long as it's separate, these are chunks that you can just watch on their own. And the way Guilty Gear handled its story was you just sat and watched it, mind you. You clicked the play button and then it just went. So if they put another chunk into the story, it doesn't really doesn't affect whatever they're putting out on launch. But yeah, it is going to be doing the season thing, and it's just, again, it's the state of affairs. It's become what it is, and I really wish that fighting games weren't that these days, but it seems like it's not going away anytime soon. We'll see how many they'll announce. We'll see what it is, and and I guess it's one of those things too where it's get the game out here, and then we'll keep working on stuff, and as it comes and it's ready to drop, it'll be included. But it feels way less rough for people when they get to buy a game, enjoy it, and then you talk about DLC a little bit down the line at the very least, instead of right away, let's start looking at extra purchases,
Yeah, well, that's kind of the way of things now. The roster's a rolling roster right off the bat.
Yeah, BB Tag in particular being obviously one of the grossest ones, where it was half of the game and it was 20 characters, and you're these are sprites and characters that are pre-existing assets that are being ported over and converted into this game's engine. These are not original drawings in the case of non-Ruby characters. Well, obviously, and for other guests like Blitztank and stuff, but most of what they're porting over were just existing Persona or existing BlazBlues characters, and what the fuck is this all going towards, So, blah. But yeah, that is what they announced alongside the date, which is going to be April 9th. So,
spring,
the next year.
Time for fighting games once again every year.
Well, not February, April.
Yeah. Well, April, spring.
Yeah, but it was fighting games February was the thing. And now fighting game February is maybe not as much the thing. It's kind of it's in the same window though. And they did push it back considering the whole netcode thing too. It was on track to be released much earlier, but I believe the decision to go rollback has increased development time.
Can we get a good interface?
Hope so. There were. Did you see the changes to the
did.
UI? I don't mind it. I think the in-game changes. Like I've never been like, okay. So there's always been two things, right? One, there's not enough rock and roll, and then there's the function of what these things are and where they're placed is not indicating what it needs to, and this is bad. It's not serving its purpose. The hearts as a kind of like a stock replacement for rounds going up are like to try and improve clarity, but yeah, and I guess to people that are unfamiliar, it might. But then things like the guts meter and all that shit were just they were not indicating what they needed to. They've moved that stuff around. They've changed it so that like positive bonus and danger and such all kind of come in from the top corners now. The burst meter is a set meter. The life bar is a set life bar. The portrait doesn't move alongside it, and it is an improvement over what we got in that earliest version of it. That much is clear. I definitely prefer that. But yeah, it's not as rock and roll as it could be. And as somebody who like, I don't mind clean designs. Like I like that like KOF 11 minimalist shit.
Oh, you're so crazy. That UI is terrible.
Yeah, I know that like other people hate it, but I don't. I'm just telling you what I like. Whatever. That's what I like. I think it's cool. I like clean graphic designy looking things. I also love Tron, and I love Tron aesthetics. I like when simple, clean graphic design is effective. So that's a personal taste. I can't speak for others, but I know that in the case of Guilty Gear, rock and roll should definitely be, and metal should definitely be more of a repeating theme. So, even though like I would in other cases in a non Guilty Gear type game, I'd be like, yeah, that's a fine, that HUD's fine to me. I would like them to continue going further with it, but it seems that the design choices are not just like the part of the they seem to think that clarity is linked to not being too marred in, I guess, like the metal t-shirt look, but the metal t-shirt look is kind of what the franchise has been identified with.
That Guilty Gear XX thing with all the chains and fucking pieces of metal stapled to it looked fucking great.
Yes, I agree.
Was the best.
I agree. And I mean, I can sit here and lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, no, like I don't like these things," but I'm being honest. I have a certain design type of thing that I enjoy, and fine, whatever, persecute me for it. It's okay. Wrong.
Okay, he said it. Everyone heard him say it.
Yeah.
Time to persecute.
There it is.
I
like what I like. Anyway, microphone is in front of me, not you. Fuck off. Hey, anyway, I think that the main character select screen as well has changed around, and that too is not sure where they're going. It definitely looks a bit more like the HUD in Guilty Gear X 1.5. It goes, and the original Missing Link. It's starting to look a little bit more like that design, but I just wish that it was like more clear why they were doing what they were doing. Because when I saw the way it looked in the demo, the classification of characters into balanced, trickster, grappler, whatever the case would be, kind of made it like, okay, you want people to know like what these are in the way that they look at.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I've been waiting for a time to say this for like 10 minutes. I very much need to use the restroom so badly.
No problem. No problem.
I'm going to pee.
All right, let's hit a break.
It's gonna happen.
Let's hit a break.
Can we please go on break for a second? Thank you.
We can hit a break. All right. Be right back, everybody. All right, look. We can sit here and discuss my horrible opinions all day and get everybody
Isn't
upset.
that what we do every Monday?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah!
not exact. Yeah, well,
Got
but is that really why we're here, or are we not here to get on with other events? Okay, just assume that we talked about Guilty Gear for another 20 minutes, and I upset you at least 3 more times with my opinions. All right? Can everybody?
All right, got it.
Can everybody do that? All right, cool.
Yeah, we can do that. All right.
All right.
Hey, despite me saying we should hurry it up, I have a story to tell. Won't take long to tell. Well, when you go take a piss in your house, how far down your legs do your pants go? Balls, knees, or ankles?
Balls.
Okay, so I usually hit the ankles, but sometimes I hit the knees if I'm in a hurry. And what I've discovered is that when you're trying to put a fat pig dog into the bathroom so he quiets down and stops throwing a tantrum, and you hit the knees on your pants, it's really hard not to piss all over the toilet when the dog decides to jump into your pants while you're pissing and rummaging around upside down. That's so when you have a fat pig dog in the bathroom and you're taking a piss, either go ankles or balls only, no knees.
How about I continue doing what I was doing and I pee like a normal person?
What?
And then we don't have to ever reconsider.
I did not pee on the dog. I didn't pee on the floor or the toilet either. All in the toilet. It was impressive. You'd be proud. Oh, bye, Wooly. Oh. Okay. This is the point where he can't deal? I was eating mold at the time as well.
I'll just keep peeing the way I've been doing it for my entire life.
Okay, that's nice. Have you ever been at a urinal and forgot, and then you like take your pants all the way down, and then you're like, "Wait, what the fuck am I doing?" And then you pull them back up.
Not even remotely.
Okay, me either.
So anyway,
that's a question that was purely academic.
Mortal Kombat 11 announced the return of Melina, which got a whole bunch of weirdos excited.
Oh, that's like the fastest burn I've heard in a while. Oh, man. Oh, man.
And Rambo. Oh, shit. Hi, Kenny. Rambo's in the game now.
How much she liked Melina, too. Did I invent that tweet in my mind? So, Melina fans. All 4 of them.
Hey.
Weirdos.
To me, personally, Rain was my second favorite ninja, so Rain makes a comeback. That's cool. But, like, I guess I like old Rain more than what Rain become. What Rain become, less cool, but also old Rain was just purple ninja, so I don't know. I
Purple Rain.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, both purple characters.
Yes. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, when it came to I liked, as far as all the fucking colors went, Noob and Rain were my favorites back in the original, right? In Ultimate MK3. And then when it came time to make them unique and stuff like that, most of the changes were cool, you know. I think Ermac was a massive improvement. Becoming a fucking just collection of souls. But yeah, Rain's just, I don't know, I felt it was kind of lame, unfortunately. But I still do like Rain, though. His moves are cool, and I like the bubble effect and the lightning. It's, you know. Anyway, so he's back, and that's great.
Rain for me was the moment that the ninja thing had gone too far.
Oh, it went too far at fucking Reptile. But
no, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking
Step
mouth.
3.
That is bullshit.
Step 3 was already the point at which it was like, okay, guys, so you didn't want to record another outfit. Got it. Like, they could have had the actor just take the hood off for a different sprite. Or even do something else, but they just went, nah, let's just color it up again. And it was like, all right, we're doing the swaps. But we're not even doing the head swaps that Ryu and Ken had. It's just the color swap. Like, the baseline, they changed Junie and Julie's heads off of Cammy, created at least a somewhat visual difference. Back then,
this is some blasphemous shit I'm hearing from you. And Reptile, the original super secret fucking cool ass hidden character.
I mean, it's as far as the existence of secret characters goes, that's fine. I'm just saying, design effort wise with fighting games, you kind of just gotta go, yeah, they just kind of threw it in there. It is what it is. You changed the colors a bit.
Better than the other two. I can't believe you of all people are saying this about the green one. You.
Well, I'm saying
you were green for a while. I can't. Are you green right now? No, you're purple now.
No, I'm green, but I mean it.
Wait, are you green? I can't.
My shirt is green.
Oh, your shirt is green. Okay.
That's not the point. You keep doing this. You've been doing it all episode and all life. You keep thinking that something that I'm talking about has to do with my tastes when I'm describing something else entirely. I don't care what color he is. I'm saying it's a lazy port. It's a lazy swap. And his moves are cool. I have no problem with him as a unique character. I like that there's a bunch of characters you can play as, and I get that they just went for the joke and the error macro and they wanted secrets to become real. There's no problem with any of that. I'm just saying that when it comes to the effort level, it was low, even if it was my favorite colors. I don't give a fuck. It has nothing to do with
But he's green! That means you have to like him! That's how things work!
I can judge something outside of my own tastes for the thing. Believe it or not. I can make a statement.
No!
You know? I'm like because I like biking, we go down the Anji Mito route, and it's like, okay, but like we agree that Anji sucks, so it's I don't care.
Okay, hold on. Does anyone even like Anji at all? Like anybody?
There's like 4, including there's.
Have you met a person?
She was on the stream. She was on the stream. Anyway, here's the thing, right? Reptile is a character that has a bunch of cool shit, and as a part of the ninja roster is unique and does some stuff. I'm just saying that as a jumping of the shark idea of it going too far thing, where it's like, yeah, they just didn't put any effort into how they made him. It was a lazy thing to do. And then fighting games were like, oh shit, let's do that. And beat 'em ups were also like, yeah, let's do that. And then, unfortunately, palette swaps became associated with the genre forever because it was just the easier way to go about things. It's just he represents a lazy effort. I have no problem with his character.
But Sub-Zero lazy more.
I love
green
Sean. I think Sean is one of the coolest things in Street Fighter. He's a dork. He sucks. He's a Shoto. He's not anywhere near as good as the other two. He's not Dan. He's something else entirely. He's a Shoto. I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that the
Echo Fighters are stealing spots.
Echo Fighters are stealing spots. Dark Pit sucks.
I get out of here, Dark Pit. Because of you, we don't have Travis or whatever the fuck it was.
And you know what, Pat?
What?
I played and completed and fucking loved Kid Icarus Uprising. And you know what? Dark
Like,
Pit.
can you hold up your hands to see if you still have them?
They're here. They're fine. Kid Icarus Uprising is a fucking amazing game, and in it, Dark Pit is hilarious, as is most of the game. Yeah. Dark Pit is legitimately a fun part of that game that Pit fucking deals with in the whole thing, right? As a character, in his context, he was more than fine. It's a fucking great game. But me liking Dark Pit is different from me looking at him and going, that's a wasted fucking slot. Fuck that guy. That lazy shit. You know? By the way, Kid Icarus Uprising, really good. It's really good. I can divorce my own tastes from the effort it would take to implement this content into the game. That's all I can tell you. You know? I fucking like Dark Pit. And I'm like, fuck Dark Pit. Do you see? It's not the straightforward I like thing or I don't like thing. I'm saying something here.
I don't understand.
I like Dark Pit. I can't
understand anything more in depth than I like thing good.
No. I like thing bad.
Do you remember the game of the year argument that we had like 6 years ago with everybody, and it went nowhere?
Probably
because it was the argument of, we're going to do the top 10 games, and I wanted to call it the top 10 best games.
Yes.
And then the argument came back, well, no, they're not the best games, that they're just our favorites. And it went, well, if they're our favorites, that means they're the best, because the most favoritist game you like is
100%.
Obviously the best, and everyone else is stupid.
This is that was a painful discussion.
That lasted hours.
It was
nowhere.
excruciating. It was excruciating. Because exactly, right? Like, as somebody who comes out and is used to saying things like, I like clean graphic design, and I thought KOF 11 was a cool UI, and then everyone goes, fuck you, you suck, your taste is shit. I'm very much, the internet has made me very aware that I put forth my opinions as my favorites and not objective.
See, that's weird, because I have spent my entire internet life being told by, I want to say 99.9% of people, that the thing that I'm doing is objectively insane. Like, you know, pooping in the dark, or peeing with your pants around your ankles, or taking off all your clothes whenever you walk into the bathroom. And all I can feel is, what's wrong with all you people? You're gonna poop with your clothes on like an animal, like a barbarian?
Well, yeah, that's
animals don't poop with their clothes on. Animals don't wear clothes. But like,
yes, but Pat, you live in the house built on goblins.
It's a goblin house. Yeah,
it's not just that goblins are possessing you. It is that you have built a house out of them. Their corpses line the walls.
So you're describing that the unfortunate thing for you is that you are at least attempting to live in the real world.
I attempt to live in the real world, which gets me...
Well, there's your mistake.
Of course.
You're a content creator. Leave that shit behind.
It's way more hostile when you attempt to live in the real world. And people have outright said, I hate what Wooly has to say so much because like he thinks he's making sense / at least Pat lives in his ridiculous dream fantasy and is content living in a non-real world. It's very clear.
Touch. You know,
it is what it is. Now, that being said, I mean, shit, like the latest, when I played BPM the other day, and I tried to play it on mouse and keyboard just for shits to see if I could, like, you know, actually handle it. And it turns out I couldn't. And then, you know, and I kind of went harder and further in to be like, no, I'm not going to give up just yet. I'm going to really, really try. And like, you know, in my mind, I have one thought, but I'm just like, I'm not going to bring that up. I'm just going to keep trying this and seeing how this feels and how I get accustomed to it in general. But I know how I truly feel. And I know that how I truly feel is the most upsetting thing for anyone to hear. And that it is absolutely sacrilegious to say, and no one will understand it. And like, so I just kept trying, and then it was awful. And then I went, all right, I'm going to grab the controller, and it is what it is, you know?
You need to embrace how wrong and awful all of your opinions are.
I am well aware.
Bathe in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're super aware. But the thing is just that when I'm deep down, right, having a feeling of, I know, like, I play and have taught people how to use arcade sticks.
That's true, yes.
I understand very well what it's like to be in a foreign controller environment and be frustrated by not being able to do what you want to do. I've learned a hitbox, for example, which is foreign again, and then had to reinvent a little bit of understanding. I know that. I understand that. The feeling of not being able to play on a stick properly is a very different thing, where I could tell I'm like, okay, I understand and I get this, and it is absolutely something that would click with me if I put more time in, and it's there. I know that like mouse and keyboard being the default for years for a ton of people has sort of just kind of become like the standard in this way. And I'm saying it, and I'm getting ready for the arrows because the shadows have already blotted out the sun, right? And I get it. And and when it comes to the mouse, I've absolutely become converted and clear from the Overwatch weird controls over through Apex, and now with the other like FPSs and stuff that I've touched, come to understand that the mouse is like, you cannot replace that. That is a device that will pinpoint accuracy on anything.
Wally, how many times are you going to defend your controller weirdness use before just throwing your arms back and letting all the arrows hit you?
I'm getting it really clear. I'm making it clear that I know a lot about the topic of being uncomfortable with a controller. I know a lot about myself. I know a lot about what I'm feeling in this moment. And I'm trying to describe that what I'm feeling when I use the keyboard to move and do things revulses me. It's not about discomfort. I fucking hate it.
Everyone gets it. You
okay, no.
don't like
sorry,
the mouse and the
sorry.
keyboard.
It came up again recently, and people didn't believe me when I was trying. They're like, "No, you just don't know though," and I'm like, "Wow, right, right."
I will take an argument that you and I had as a perfect example, because I remember the exact phrase that I used that really set you off, and you were right to be set off. Where we were in Dark Souls part whatever, and you mentioned that the GameCube was blue, and I lost
purple.
it, and I was like, "What are you, crazy? It's obviously purple." And you went, "I'm so fucking sick of having this argument." To which I yelled out, "Then stop saying the wrong thing!"
Yeah.
And that's the trap.
That's the trap.
As long as you continue to be in this manner, this torrent of will never stop. Therefore, the only thing you can do is tattoo "I love the blue GameCube" on your nipples and start up an OnlyFans. It's the only way.
I mean,
you need to start deep-throating the controller arrows.
Part of a bigger part of the problem is that the person who's yelling has only heard half the conversation, and those who have heard the entire thing are just like, "Oh my fucking god, dude."
Yeah.
You know. so that's where that goes. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, I hate when people think I don't know me. I know me.
Hey man,
I get it.
If you want a good time, you should have these controller conversations with Dave of New Blood, because it drives him crazy. When I was playing Dusk on a controller, those guys were losing their shit.
Well, that's the thing, is when I fucking jumped in to play Ultra Kill the other day, Hakita showed up and was talking in the chat, and I was wondering if the other new blood dude would show up, but it was just Akita. So I was I remember your controller dunking. I was spared that because Akita was very nice and just gave tips about how to improve playing.
Yeah,
and that was it. So I did not get dunked on by new blood people.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to New Blood, however. They put out, I think, 1.2 of Unfortunate Spacemen, which is that game that seems to be inspired by Among Us. And they said that they added 3D and controller support just for me. So give that, it's free on Steam. So give that a shout out. It's kind of embarrassing how it only, came out after Among Us got really popular, really. But you know how it is.
But yeah, and I mean, I'm obviously going to have to cut this entire fucking stupid redundant topic off. But like the only place I was going to go with it is that I'm never going to try to champion or convert people to what I do, or imply that like that WASDA is inferior in any way, or try to tell people that that's the way to go with it, or teach them that that's, I'm entirely in my own world on it. I don't want you to follow my path. I get it, but I'm fine in my world. That's what it is.
You know what the trap you've fallen into is? You are both stubborn and want to be reasonable.
That's probably true.
It's much easier
to just be one or the other.
Stubborn and just give up on being reasonable. Just fucking give up.
See, but if you go the other route where you go full reasonable without any stubbornness, then who are you in the end, I suppose, right?
Yeah, you compromise to everything.
Do you have an identity? Are you even, I don't know. I hope I'm interesting to listen to, and I hope that the reason why people like tuning into what I do is because I'm kind of interesting to listen to.
You ever have a friend?
If I wasn't, then why would anyone be here? Maybe, You
ever have a friend of yours that becomes their significant other?
Yeah.
Isn't that the weirdest fucking thing in the world?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, oh, I'm really into rock climbing now. Really? Oh yeah, because my boyfriend or my girlfriend is into it, and it's like, and they just become a separate version.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yeah. But that's what it is like. It's there's a two. I have in the same way that I can be like Dark Pit's great, fuck Dark Pit. In the same way that I can be like, have two. In the same way that I can have two minds about the thing and have like the way it ought to be / the way I prefer it, right? And there's many. Honestly, in life, I honestly have two levels of thought on things. I often have, here's what I personally feel, and then I have, what.
You're done. That's it.
No, it's not.
That's the end.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It can't be. Because, like...
That's the end.
Like, as someone who came from a world dominion of bullshit that was my fucking upbringing, I had to break out of a mindset that I still have to look back on and go, well... Everyone that's choosing to live that way is choosing to live that way, and that has to be fine. The world has to be able to run in such a way where I think you're all stupid for thinking that, but I also need to let you have the ability to live and let live in the world that you want to live in, that I decided to leave behind. So I have to have two minds about things. I have to have my personal opinion that works for me, and then I have to have what the society needs to function. If I had to spend every day yelling at the people that the religion that I walked out on and trying to pull everybody with me, fuck that.
You'd be really huge.
That life sucks.
And powerful.
That life sucks and is exhausting. If I spent every day trying to convert my fucking religious family into following me mentally, that's ridiculous. I can't do that. That's not my burden. I'm not carrying that weight. Let them do it.
Let them put the little X in your head.
Yeah. But there's
give up X.
But now we create a thing. The part of me that goes, I need to live and let live is I don't
No,
fucking.
you don't.
You have to.
Ah!
You have to. We live in a society.
Ah! Listen, Wooly, your family's hyper religious. All my dead grandparents, except for my grandfather and my French grandparents were great actually, but my English grandparents, right? They're horrible and evil and racist. And I wasn't going to convince them to stop being horrible and evil and racist. So I just put the little X next to their name in my mind. And when they started to get sick and old and decrepit, I just stopped listening to them until they died.
So what are you going to do? You're going to try to change society?
Nah, just let them.
Mankind knew that they could not change society. So instead they blamed the beasts. But they found beauty in the beasts, and they couldn't lie to themselves about it.
What's up with chicks wanting to fuck monsters? What's up with that? Why is Beauty and the Beast like a fucking blueprint to Beast Man romance?
Well, one, because beasts are large, they're powerful, they exert a strength that can probably Mamoru really effectively.
That's true. They can be protective.
Second, there's something primal about it, which also is more like implying that they'll just give in to their urges, and they're just,
like ravishment.
They can't control themselves. They're just so in love, and they're so obsessed. So it's a combination of these two factors applied to
that makes sense.
A fictional world that doesn't exist. So it's safe to go there.
That was way off topic. You mentioned Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, what's up with that?
Heaven or hell. Anyway, so hey, we got some shutdowns and we got some teardowns. The shutdowns are level 5.
No more North America.
Yep. All operations in North America shuttered. Goodbye, I guess, to, what is that? Ni no Kuni, Layton, and the other one.
Yokai, whatever.
Yokai Watch, thank you.
Congrats, everyone. Now the easiest way to get Yokai Watch shit in North America will be on the Final Fantasy XIV crossover event that will probably come back one day.
Oof. Heard that was a really fun game. That's a shame. Also, Layton, I thought looked cool. I never played any of them, but I thought it was an interesting.
Yeah, they look
world.
Cool. Yeah,
I like that art style. So goodbye to level 5. Similarly, and just continuing the rolling shit downhill, though predictably. Let's be real. 505 Games says, "Hey man, we're done. Indivisible, we're cutting it short. Lab Zero situation continues to be a shit show. 505 is a publisher. They're going to release what is currently in submission, so that is the patches for the Switch version of the game, and some of the new features that they teased in that last trailer. But as far as the new content goes, as far as the guest characters go, Indivisible development is currently ceased. At the end of the day,
so
Lab Zero were the ones making those characters.
There is a silver lining to that, which was, I think it was the Indivisible or maybe 505 Discord, where the exact moment that Mike Z gave up were captured via screenshot. And they are fucking hilarious.
I didn't see any of that.
It is the equivalent of like a group of like 40 people standing around you screaming, "Yo, you suck. Yo, when's the update, man?" Just fucking brutal. It's on Twitter. People got screenshots that thing. It's hilarious.
Well,
It's the exact moment that Mike just went, I'm gone. Goodbye, everyone. And hopefully has disappeared.
What's
forever.
really tragic is, that the team working on a lot of those the guest characters and such have they basically were explaining how progress on Shantae and Shovel Knight and Juan and all these guests that were gonna show up existed. They had work put in. I think they're saying literally, 15 characters with 100% completed art, animations, and UI elements waiting to be implemented that people spent hundreds of hours creating is what's being dropped on the cutting room floor. So that shit is fucking just awful, considering they had it all ready and waiting to go from an art perspective. I don't know. I don't imagine that the dream come true scenario in which it's like, hey, look, Future Club could do something if they wanted, I think there's probably too much legal shit happening for them to ever be able to even, do that.
No, all that shit's tainted.
It's not a telltale situation. It's not a telltale situation.
That's never going to happen.
But 15 characters completed, art-wise, that just didn't have their day in the spotlight, and that sucks. 505 put the statement out and basically said, yep, that's the end of production. There's nothing much we can do, but they will honor what they can. And the last remaining backer reward being the statue, and they'll still honor the statue. The Ajna and Haruka statues are going to still go out to backers, but as far as Indivisible goes as a game, that's a wrap. So,
by the way, Walls, I found the screen grabs of the near final state of the Indivisible Discord. If you want to take a gander at the general tolerance of Mike Z going on,
I will.
It's pretty funny.
So that was the shutdowns, and then there was the teardown, which was the PS5 getting opened up and screwed open, which I fucking thought was awesome. I love that kind of video, and I wonder why we didn't see it before. And then I realized it's because we didn't live in a world where opening up your hardware and showing it off really meant as much to the consumer as it does now. So,
that thing was awesome, but also, as a person who you've moved around shit in your PC, you've added parts, you've removed parts. I think you even built
PCs,
one at one point.
I've repaired Dreamcasts, and I've built arcade sticks from scratch.
Perfect. So as somebody who has a technical inside knowledge, and anybody else who's ever dug around inside their PC, man, that's a big fucking heat sink.
That heat sink is a motherfucker. That's a chungus. That's a big boy. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
The whole box.
The reason why the box is so big is because the heat sink is taking up 75% of it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That
thing will not overheat.
It is all for cooling. And this is anticipating where the generation goes. This is anticipating 4K 60 hard locked in the foreseeable future.
Apparently the machine is quite quiet.
Yes.
In operation.
That's what all those the Japanese impressions were. And yeah, that makes it, now it all makes sense. Because you open it up, you get your standard parts everywhere else. They show you the liquid cooling system. They show you, although look, I get it. I understand. We're not going to get the world that the world of two ports in front of the thing, in front of your console, is just about over. We're now in this realm of one port, because wireless controller can just go in between all the multiple controllers that are fine. And then we have an extra USB-C for your devices. But go fuck yourself, arcade sticks for, plugging in the front for just non-annoying purposes, I suppose.
Well, I mean, luckily you would never actually play a fighting game with two arcade sticks locally.
Yeah, that would never happen. You know what? It's fine because stick extensions allow you to just put a USB extender facing front anyway. But like any standard USB extender is not good enough. It needs to be a high speed, good extender because regular extenders for a lot of the better quality sticks do not conduct enough power. So if you just grab if you grab the little extender that came with your Wi-Fi signal booster or your like little or your dongle and stick it in, that shit's not going to do anything. You know,
No,
you need a real actual fucking extender. That teardown though, yeah, check that heatsink out. That thing is fucking fat.
it's actually a really simply built machine.
As you know, and I mean, I had the thought at the end where I was like, I bet you someone's looking at this going, that's it, that's all I'm paying for. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, open up a console, see what you get. You know, like
there's actually not a whole lot in there.
if you want to be super unimpressed with your console, strip all the shit out of it and just hold the flimsy plastic left over at the end. That feels like trash. It feels like it's meant for the garbage, you know? But yeah, anyway, I also got the impression, because he did say that once you go beyond the fan layer, that's where you have to start unscrewing. But the two white covers are meant to be user removable.
Yeah, and then you can just pop a new hard drive in if you like.
Or
Like all you need is a standard Phillips head to screw it in, and that's it.
or some custom faceplates.
Yeah, faceplates. Whatever. I'm just jam that thing in my entertainment center and forget it exists.
Yeah, they can do it though. And if they don't make them officially, someone's going to do them third party. But those big old white things are going to get customized and sold for sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Sony teardown video, pretty cool overall. That's the takeaway. Apple versus Epic continues.
Yeah. Badly for Epic.
Mm-hmm. We got an update.
Very badly. They have failed another attempt to try and get it back on during the process. So Fortnite will not go back on the App Store during the legal challenge.
The outcome of the case might still allow it to come back, but for now it is not. But essentially the ruling was Apple cannot block Unreal Engine games. Fortnite, however, can continue to be blocked for the ruling and then forever depending on the outcome of the trial. It might be 7 months or more before it's back. So essentially, fuck around and find out.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'll slap your shit level of like NHL slap shits going on here. That joke makes no sense. But that joke makes no sense. Wait, why are you laughing? That joke is terrible.
Because I'm just seeing a badly photoshopped logo.
Oh, it exists. I created it.
Okay, well then, sure. And like, just a really horrible logo with like Brett Hull underneath it.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone now. But yeah, it was David the Gnome with like a hockey stick on his head.
Okay. It couldn't be Gretzky or Patrick. It had to be fucking someone like Brett Hull.
Yeah, I found it. I found it. I can send it to you. Put it up. Put it up on the. Put it up.
That's great. That's great. Hold on. How do I? Here.
That was created by somebody in the comments a million years ago during what I want to say the Right to Hell playthrough.
No, this is not gonna work. Okay, there we go.
All right, whatever. Just
David
type in NHL slap shits and you'll find it.
There it is. Yeah, all right.
You'll find it. There you go. Yeah.
So whatever. That's a visual gag. Thanks for listening to the MP3. Hey,
just look it up. You can find it.
We have
follow me on Twitter. That'll happen. That'll work too.
Yeah. Fucking out of nowhere for no reason, all of a sudden noise made now about uppers The game
Again?
which uppers, which I was pushing back in the day, a Vita exclusive beat 'em up that looked pretty sick, and namely, I was interested in because SNK artist Hiroaki was doing all the character designs, and I fucking love his art. And Uppers is now getting ported to Steam, and yeah, Back from the Dead on the Vita. It's going to be out on October 21st. So, whatever. I don't know why or how, but we're allowed to play Uppers now.
That game's going to be like shit.
Oh, yeah,
I
probably.
just know it. Like, we're going to play it and be like, wow.
Dude, you get punched into the crowd, and you fall into some girl's cleavage, and then you get guts up, and then she, like, slaps you and kicks you away, but you get buffed, and then you go back to the fight with your buffs.
Yeah.
Uppers.
Good uppers.
As in uppercuts.
Yeah, man.
Not as in pills.
Oh, yeah. I prefer downers. Personally.
As in, like, Debbie Downers? Or
No, as in alcohol.
Oh, as in alcohol. Okay. Yeah. Well, not anymore, though.
I like the idea that the idea that somebody would like, hey man, this thing will make you really excited. You know what? I'm good. I have plenty excitement in my brains.
Yeah. It all depends.
Should I start doing heroin on during the podcast?
Maybe ayahuasca.
Like just shoot up.
Maybe
Just shoot up.
Not heroin, but maybe ayahuasca. Maybe you go on a journey to the innermost recesses of your mind, and you discover what makes you you, and you come out forever changed.
All right, calm down, Joe.
Find that little Homer Fox and follow it with Johnny Cash's voice.
Uh-huh. Are we getting okay? We're doing okay. We're doing a podcast, right? All right. I came back to where we were there. There's more news. I know it.
There's a little bit more, but it's I mean, as far as I have, it's just the little bits and pieces. One random thing, we'll find out a little bit more about it later, but some Slovakian company is announcing a game called Die by the Blade, which is not Die by the Sword, mind you. It'll be coming to Kickstarter in a second. I think it's going to be a couple days, maybe tomorrow or so. But one-hit kill fighting game inspired by Bushido Blade. We'll see what's up. The world could use a couple more of those. Not much else to say. There's a quick little, like, maybe like 5 or 6 second clip of like some swords being swung around on Twitter. The Fighters Generation Twitter linked it out, but yeah, that's always fun. And then there's a fucking hilarious screenshot of a goddamn Rathalos in the Monster Hunter movie, and some basic math here indicates that apparently we're looking at a Rathalos that is the width of a football field.
Or 55 meter or 170 foot Rathalos.
It is the width of a football field, and that is what we're doing now.
I can't.
Giant kaiju monster.
I can't. Nothing. Like, Monster Hunter is already silly and dumb, but at least the monsters are maximum on average the size of an elephant, right?
Well, so I went to check actually, and Rathalos on average, I mean, because there's the growth sizes that are the crowns, but the actual measurements is from head to tail. A Rathalos should be about 20 feet.
Yeah. So this thing is like 8.5 times larger, right? Like, What are you gonna do with your knives?
Yeah. And then when you have to kill Zora Magdaros, that's a big cinematic moment.
And yes, Zora's there, Dalamurder is there, Jen Moran, etc., etc., etc. There are kaiju-sized monsters.
God, fuck Dalamurder.
But like
card wipes the board in Teppen.
Come on, it's supposed to be a T-Rex. Like that's what Monster Hunter really is, guys. It's what if you had a big sword and fought a T-Rex?
Dinosaur Hunter. Sure.
Like
most fights are fighting something that you can jump on and kind of straddle and stab, right? That's the impression I got, is everything is at a size where you can kind of get on its head or its neck and do some damage, but it's not like you are fighting a colossus of nonsense, with the exception of those ones you've mentioned, yes? Right? So, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That picture is really funny. It's like there's the human being standing next to it is like a dot.
Like what is a fight scene gonna look like? Just stabbing its fucking toes?
Godzilla-sized Jagras rolling through. Let's get it.
Also remember, that movie is made by immoral scumbags that horribly maimed one of their stunt people and then ripped her off on the reparations for her.
Did she lose a limb?
She lost her arm and her face was degloved.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's
due to Paul W.S. Anderson changing a stunt at the last second and not telling anyone but the cameraman, which led to her crashing her motorcycle.
Class act.
Paul W.S. Anderson is just shy of a murderer. And only by circumstance.
You know, Capcom's got that CG movie studio sitting right over there, making all those Resident Evils.
Making those terrible Resident Evil movies.
It's
as
right
somebody
there.
Who's watched almost all of them, let me tell you, bad.
Yeah. But that's about all I was going to talk about. Well, you got something else before?
I have two more stories. One is Capcom is making another Resident Evil movie.
Oh boy, not the Netflix.
Without Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, live action movie.
Yes.
Oh.
They put out the cast list, which seems fine, and it is apparently going to be a reboot of a more grounded, straight adaptation of Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, of course. That's
with a horror movie director who directed a mediocre movie about killer sharks called 47 Feet Below.
I could see this landing and not really upsetting too many people, but ultimately not making a ton of waves like, say, Silent Hill.
I'm just going to say, man, it would be really difficult to disappoint me at this point. Like the fucking Resident Evil series of movies on both ends of it have been so terrible that even a kind of bad one would be a godsend. In fact, if it's directed well, but the acting is terrible, great. Honestly, that would be just great.
That would be accurate. I've been going off on this a little bit recently, and it comes up every now and then, and I kind of have to, refresh the subject matter. But, do you even care about adaptations of that franchise, though?
I
still care? Does it matter to you?
Here's the problem with Resident Evil movies. The answer would obviously be no, except the fact that the script for the Romero-directed Resident Evil 1 got out, and it looked pretty decent. And the only problem Capcom had with it was that it focused too much on the zombies and not enough on the monsters. So there was a sequence of events that happened that could have been at least possibly good, right?
Because it's just,
so
you know,
that like dangling thing.
Yeah. I already talked about like how movies don't have to be the peak of medium, and we don't have to treat them as the fucking the ultimate, like, oh, thank God the silver screen has descended from on high Mount Olympus to adapt my favorite thing and show it to the world. Oh yay. Like, fuck that. I don't care, right?
Have you ever seen you ever seen the Resident Evil 1 cutscene where like Chris laughs at Wesker and says that he's pitiful?
No.
So let me find that. Chris, so it's terrible. The acting in it is terrible. And it's literally the ultimate life form. Ha ha ha, Wesker, you're pitiful. And Wesker goes like, Chris, come on, like stop it. Like for real. It's so embarrassing. That's what I wanted. That's what I always wanted. I wanted a B movie. But because it's a big property, we'll never get a B movie.
Yeah, so I think that basically if we end up with a, like, and you have this sort of feeling, and it is true that if it's a franchise you care about, you might not care about the adaptation, but you might care about the world is now watching because the medium of movies is more popular, so people are going to see this and you want people to have a good impression of it, right? That's how I felt about Watchmen, for example. When Zack Snyder was directing Watchmen, I was like, this already doesn't bode well, but I want the world to have a good impression of this because I know people aren't going to read this comic, so I hope it does it enough justice because, and, well, whatever, right? So that sort of feeling, it's just, I feel like I've gotten past it, and I feel like I'm generally, like, able to look at something and I'll just be like, yeah, that shit's stupid, whatever. But like, bad adaptations are easier for me to get. It's easier for me to not get as upset, mainly because I don't think the movie coming in late to adapt something that's already good that exists is a big deal, because the thing that exists that is good can be experienced by anyone who wants to experience it. I mean, providing it's a game that hasn't like been non-ported or some shit like that, you know, like the fact that the superior medium for this thing is here means I don't have to give a fuck about some shitty adaptation. I don't have to respect it or be worried about it.
So the way that I look at it a lot is that in Resident Evil, the first film, there was one part that was actually pretty cool, and that was the laser hallway. And
right.
that was cool enough that it actually got put into multiple games, because that part where the guy gets cut into diagonals and then falls into a bunch of chunks of meat, yeah, that was pretty awesome, right? In the Silent Hill adaptation by Christoph Gans, there's stuff in that movie that is pretty cool. There are some camera shots, there are a couple scenes. There's that part where Pyramid Head rips the skin off that lady that you're like, yeah, hey, this movie wasn't a wash. Like, I got to get something out of it, right? Like, there's something that mattered here that I'm like, oh, that's a good scene. When it comes to the Resident Evil films, like everything past that first one, it's just like that. There is like nothing of value to them at all. There's nothing that I've gained. Just like the second Silent Hill movie, there's nothing. No, wait, in the second Silent Hill movie, there was a genuinely cool new mannequin monster. So that's cool. Like, but you know, like I'm looking at something. I would like a piece of this film associated with the property that I like to have at least one thing that I go, oh, that's cool. Like, there's a part in that terrible Resident Evil CG movie where Leon has to fight Mr. X again. And it's cool. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll watch Leon fight another Mr. X. That's radical.
Look, man, movies have sucked at adapting things I love for my entire life. I'm past the point of hopeful, wishful thinking. I'm more just going to take it for what it is and go, yeah, the world is going to see a shittier like version of this thing. I hope, if anything, I can be like, well, at least now the book or game will be on the front shelf of Chapters or your game shop, and people will be like, oh, as adapted into that thing, and then you can go look at the better version. You know, that's about it. Like, whatever turns into a movie is going to be at the front of the bookstore, and maybe you'll take a look at it that way. But
the more that I think about it, the more that I think about how Resident Evil might be unadaptable, because the single highest point of tension in a Resident Evil game is often relegated to, at best, maybe a total of 40 frames in a film, and that is the part when a character looks at their gun and a handful of bullets and shoves them into their pockets. In the games, that is the most stressful part of the entire experience. But in a film, that plays like shit, and there's no way to get across, oh, my inventory.
Yeah. You know, we can always point out the exceptions, right, to the adaptation curse, but the point remains is that, like, just about everything it sucks. There's a couple things that don't, but most things suck. No reason to fucking... Yeah.
There's a part in the Silent Hill movie where a part where a character's gun runs out of ammo is ruined by the movie's editing, because they cut scenes in which that character shot people. Therefore, the gun runs out of bullets way too early.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Exactly.
It's so stupid. I think the handgun like runs out of bullets in like 6 rounds, and it's like, what fucking handgun is? Whatever.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much movies make sense when they're allowed to include all the shit that was written for them, and not just butchered into crap. And like, again, all the shit removed from Prometheus that made it make sense is just ridiculous. But anyway,
I've been so bummed out about that Silent Hill movie, but that first one, because it might be good. I don't know. There is over an hour of that movie on the cutting room floor. That is 40% of the movie's runtime is just gone.
Wow. So they actually got to the point of production.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was filmed. It wasn't in post-production, but it got cut. And you know what it is? It's them wandering around the town lost. The stuff that is the most like the game. Yeah.
What's the other story?
So that last news story that I wanted to send to you is, do you remember Crucible, the game that released and then got pulled back into closed beta?
Crucible.
Amazon Games. It was a free-to-play shooter that was so bad upon its official release that in July it got
they unreleased it. Yes.
Into closed beta.
Yes, unreleased.
Canceled.
Game. Okay.
Canceled.
All right. I do.
It has been fully time aborted. It never happened. Shut up. Boy, Amazon Luna's gonna be lit, huh?
Wait, what if you bought it? Did you get your money back?
It was free.
Okay, it was free. Okay. Well,
Amazon Luna's gonna be great.
Here's the thing. I didn't mention it earlier, but when we were talking about MK11, they announced the Ultimate Pack with all the new characters and shit and whatever is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Stadia. So, a game that's coming to just about everything it can, that's what the limit of that list means. It's now a 7-point list, and Stadia is the end of it. Luna's not even a thing.
Baldur's Gate 3's only other SKU is the Stadia after PC. I really wonder if the people working on the Stadia version of that game are like, should we even bother to do this, or will the thing die before the game really comes out?
Ask the Stadians.
The Stadians.
Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, you can send it in to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Your email may be featured in another short podcast that lasts over 4 hours.
We tried.
We gave up at a point. No. It's too hard.
Hello there, Southtown, Wooly, and Metro City. Pat, you have discussed video games and series titles that have become stupid once they drop numbers and add nonsense titles. But what about another problem that has occurred more prevalent recently with one-word titles that make it so much harder to search for information about the game? I remember this being an issue when Googling info on Control, but most recently, the game Moon that just got ported to the Switch makes it incredibly hard to look up anything about that title. Thanks from Josh.
Usually you can get around it by putting game afterwards.
Game? Okay, so to me, the end of the discussion is the classic joint, Wet.
Oh, man.
Do you remember Wet?
I very, very vividly remember Wet.
Wet is the end of that discussion. You're done.
I remember somebody who went in to play that game early and came back going, I don't know, man. That game looks terrible.
Good luck searching for and finding the 2009 third-person shooter by Behavior Interactive and Bethesda.
Wet game. Type it in.
Yeah. And yeah, sure, Rage is pretty generic too, but I'm gonna say Wet.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad.
We got one coming in from, that was from Josh. Thank you, Josh. Got one coming in from Cyrus, who says, "Did you ever hear the tragedy of Advance Wars?" In an interview, Hitoshi Yamagami of Nintendo said he would like to continue making new Advance Wars games, but following an immense success of the Fire Emblem Awakening franchise and its relationship system, he said he does not know how to implement character relationship systems into Advance Wars, so the series was left to slowly rot and silently die.
So you're telling me that waifus killed Advance Wars?
Waifus killed Advance Wars.
That's a bummer. But also, waifus, though.
No one gives a fuck about character relationships in Advance Wars games. It's always been about fun strategy, tanks, copters, and property capturing. To echo what you said last week, Wargroove does a great job of scratching the Advance Wars itch. That is a fucking stupid-ass reason to not have any more of those games.
Sure is.
Those characters were cool. Sam and Eagle and all that fun stuff is great. But that's not the point. The little portraits are not the point. Back when it was GB Wars, there were no characters. It was just a bunch of little tank men. Anyway, yeah, that's a tragedy.
Dude, this cat smells. This old busted cat I got smells. Gross.
And let's take one here from another Josh, who says, Dear Fortress Ultra Creature, listening to last week's podcast, and the end you started talking about Transformers Beast Wars and Reboot, which triggered an ancient memory. I was in 6th grade, and I went to an indoor amusement park at Las Vegas called Adventure Dome. I remember getting on one of those 4D rides with the moving chairs in front of a big movie screen, and at the time I had never seen or heard of Reboot, but the ride itself was a reboot ride, and it was unlike anything I experienced before, and I thought it was hype. I must have gotten back in line 4 more times. I was wondering if Wooly had seen or heard of this reboot ride film. Talking about and on the subject of 4D rides, what kind of 4D experiences would you guys like to see? Yes, I have seen and I know about the reboot ride. In fact, I featured a couple of frames of it in my reboot video that I made, where the character in that was her a guest appearance of a search engine that shows up in the actual episode with no name later on. As far as those things go, I kind of feel like after going to USJ and getting on that Harry Potter ride, I feel like amusement parks can replace rides with that. Like the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios Japan, and I guess it's also in like America too. I talked about it, about how amazing it was, where you just get on this chair and it moves you around in a space, and it brings you by screens and it rotates, and it's so convincing with the combination of practical effects and screens that you really do feel like you're going through like a roller coaster like thing, but it's a very small space by comparison to the amount of real estate a roller coaster actually takes up. I feel like amusement parks should just be tons and tons of those things to have an amazing experience that fits into small spaces. And I think that should absolutely be the future of 4D ride technology.
I mean, I feel
if the cost isn't prohibitive.
I think it's pretty ironic, Wolves, that you're describing the Harry Potter ride as not taking up a lot of space when the actual Harry Potter ride section is like an entire castle.
Yes, it's an entire fucking castle. And it's one of the most popular things, and they need that giant...
It's the largest thing on the entire park.
Hogwarts is sitting there taking up a motherfucker of space. But the ride itself is, a whole-ass Hogwarts, indeed. But the ride itself, like, when you get in and it rolls you around in that space, you don't need as much room as you would need for, like, the monster.
Yeah, it's like half a hockey rink, it feels like.
Yeah, you don't need roller coaster level space, Yeah.
Man, cool. I'm never going to forget that you went on the pterodactyl Jurassic Park one there, right?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, man, there's the part where it goes a loop-de-loop and it hits the max speed right as you go into like a tunnel that's like perpendicular to the ground. And it feels like you are going to die.
Yeah, I don't think JP was available when we were there. We got all the Ava, Sailor Moon, and Attack on Titan stuff, but okay. Well, hey, look at that. We came in under 4.
The P is silent.
Pterodactyl? Yeah.
In pterodactyl?
Yeah. It is.
Wait, is it just pterodactyl?
Pat, do you remember Beast Wars? Pat, look at me. No, look at me. Look at me. Do you remember Beast Wars?
Yeah.
Do you remember the red guy?
Yeah.
What was his name?
What was his name? I forget his name.
Pterosaur.
Pterosaur, right. Pterosaur.
Not Pterosaur.
But why? No.
What was he? What was his animal?
I thought he was just named Pterosaur because Saur is the end of dinosaur names.
Pterosaur.
And he likes terror.
But he turns into a...
pterodactyl.
Yeah, but you see the naming pun. All right. Good bit.
Wait, what? No, that's not. No.
Good bit.
That's not. See you next week, guys.